Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast lineup for you this morning, as I hope and I pray that we always do. I'm not important, just a question asker. I'm just a question asker. My name is Raheem Aljamain out of Atlanta, Georgia. Some people will say, well, I'm gonna say Atlanta, Georgia. I'm gonna leave it right there because I get picked at when I say Atlanta, Georgia. But y'all know where I'm from. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, right? By way of Greensboro, North Carolina. I gotta do a shout out to Greensboro, North Carolina. That's my hometown. Greensboro, North Carolina, my home city. Greensboro, North Carolina. So anybody that's out there in the North Carolina, Greensboro area, Greensboro, the Metro, whatever they call it now. They got different names for it. Good morning to you as well. Got a lot of things we're gonna cover today. Waiting on everybody to get in here, man. We got quite a few things we're going to cover today, but I have a question that I want to ask. And like I always say, I'm the question asker. Got people coming in. Who we got here? We got Ryan. Ryan, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Morning.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir. I was about to pose a question out there, but I'm gonna go ahead now that I have you here, brother. I'm gonna pose the question to you. All right.
All
He
right,
didn't say
let's do
yes.
this.
He didn't say he did. Okay, good deal. Ryan, it going around life, dealing with people, different people, in the different ways that we deal with people. In a nutshell, is everybody is everybody healing or maybe even hurting from something?
Absolutely. That's no doubt.
Wow. So you're saying everybody that you come in contact, they're either healing or they're hurting from something.
Yeah, think about life in general. Trying to move away from this noise right quick. Uh, Life in general is nothing but feel goods and pains. That's
Mm-hmm.
all it is. And so, if you're not healing, getting better, or you hurting from something, you ain't alive, really. Ain't
Mm.
nobody on the face of this planet that ain't gone through something. And
Yeah.
even though
Yeah.
you may think you're better right now, like you went through something in your past, you feel like you've moved past it, there's always something that's going to bring it back up.
Triggers. And that's what people, a lot of times people call them triggers. There's always going to be something that's going to trigger you and take you back to that place of pain. How does one deal with it?
uh Personal growth, I think, is one way. um Not leaving yourself in a victim mindset. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
people encounter struggles and things in their life, and it places them in a bad mental place, so they end up living in this victimhood mentality and never coming out of it, to where
Wow.
every little thing that you could go through during the course of a day feels like a personal attack. They're targeting me, they're
Mm-hmm.
coming after me, something.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's really about personal growth. Maybe if you need it, going and seeking professional help. um
Let's stay there for a second. Would you
okay.
agree with me? Would you agree with me if I said that same people that we're talking about, which is everybody? Do you think everybody at one point in time in their life, or several times in their life, in some cases, need counseling? Does everybody really need counseling?
hmm some people would say yeah. uh Me, I don't know personally. I find my counsel in the spiritual realm, and I find my counsel in those who are closest to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't trust professionals because they do have an agenda,
Mm-hmm.
even though most of them are kind. They're well educated, nice people, but there's still an agenda there,
Mm-hmm.
and so I
What do
don't
you
put
think
my
that?
trust.
What do you think that agenda is?
for some of them, not all, I'm gonna make that very clear. So I know we do have some professionals on the show. Some of them, that agenda is to get you on some pills because they get kickbacks for that stuff. Some of them, they may have some other kind of agenda where, like, trying not to be too abrasive.
Today's Friday, brother.
Well, yes, but at the same time, as much as I have my opinions, I don't like to hurt people's feelings, and people's feelings get hurt real easy nowadays. So, some political biases, some sexual biases. If you see where I'm going with that, I don't like this being some of these companies out here forcing people to take these weird trainings based on how someone feels. You know, like, you're a person, I'm a person. If I don't like your lifestyle, that's what it is. I shouldn't have to go through some specific training at work because you want to live a certain kind of way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Trying to pull you into a form of acceptance of some things that you really don't want to accept. Is that
right? And one form of those trainings is I forgot what it's called. It used to be really popular, but I think they've dialed it back a bit, where they force white people to go into a certain kind of training for how they interact with people of color. And I'm like, I had a job that tried to get me to do that, and I just kind of looked at them. I'm not doing that. You can fire me. What you mean? I'm like, I don't need training on how to deal with people of color. They're people.
Yeah.
Like, I grew up around people of color. I'm a person of color myself, even though I'm white, you know, and I got a lot of flack for that. And, you know, Rico and I talked about this yesterday, where I was walking through the store and we were talking about specific news articles, how they'll label it white man kills black man or black man kills white man. And I'm like, why they got to add that label in there? I'm like, when I see you walk out of your house, I see you as a man that just walked out of his house. I'm never going to address you as, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do, but let's deal with the reality of the situation that we're talking about even right now. How many people would you say, if you had to put a number or a percentage on it, feel the way that you feel? How many people see the color before they see the person? And if your answer is,
I can't honestly answer that question.
I tell you, from what I think there's a huge percentage of people that there's a huge, sad as it is, and it's very sad in this day and time that we still have to be in this realm. But I think that majority of the people, well over 50% of people, would see the color before they see the person. And there, I think
that's by design.
Absolutely is by design.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. That answer your question. Absolutely, I think it absolutely by design. You have some quote unquote, as we said on this broadcast, power that be that want it to be and stay that way, because that's another way of divide. So yes, it's by design, but that don't mean that it's not true.
Yeah, but like I said, you know, over the last few days, I think that labels are overdone, and that's a label. You know, me looking at you as not Raheem, but as a black radio host. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's to me, that's too far gone. Like, when I talk about the show, I don't say, oh yeah, I'm involved in this, you know what I'm saying, and label everybody in the group. I'm involved in a show with a bunch of people where we talk about hot button issues. You know, it's crazy.
It is, and truth of the matter, I wish it did not have to be that way. I told the example about my daughters when they was actually in elementary school, and they used to come home, and I used to ask them how was their day, and you know, kids being kids, good, and I sit down, we talk, and I asked them, well, what happened in this class? What happened during this time? What happened during that time, or whatever the case? And they would always explain who did what and how they did it. And I would always listen very intently to what they say because I want to know how they're going to describe the people. Are they going to use color or they, and for a long time, they never did. They always say, this girl, she did this, or this guy, he did that, blah, blah, but they never say black, white, Latino, or anything. They never categorized them. I thought that was beautiful. I thought that was absolutely beautiful because they didn't get, they, at that point in time, there wasn't caught up in the color thing that society wants you to be a part of. They was not a part of it. Now, realistically, I had to let them know that there are people out there that don't have the same heart that they have because I wasn't gonna sit there and let them walk around with blinders on to the point where they get hurt in certain situations. So I had to make it plain to them. I didn't tell them, this color, that color, this color, that color, but strategically I poured different things in so they would understand that not everybody, and good that I did that because one of my daughters experienced something that was not so good. And she was like, why they do that? Well, I said, baby, this is what it is. And I'm not, doesn't matter who they are, what color they are. You got some people that are just evil, that just want to do evil things. And it doesn't, it's not, how did I say it? I can't remember the word that I used so long ago, but I say in a nutshell, it's not, no race have a monopoly on being evil. In a nutshell,
Yeah,
that's not what I said. I know that's certainly not the words that I use, but in a nutshell, that's what I was saying. Go ahead.
but that's keeping it 100.
Yeah.
Nobody has a monopoly on evil. Nobody has a monopoly on racism.
Yeah.
In my time, I've experienced many people of color that are way more racist than any white folks I ever met. You know what I mean? But there's things behind that, of course.
Yeah.
But it's an ideology that's taught. It's whether it be through school books or passed down through generations, whatever. I think that it's very important um, that we just kind of focus on people as people.
Mm-hmm.
And once we do that, I think things will get a little better.
I think they will get a lot better. But reality of the situation, man, we've been in this realm. I just say realm for so long, man. I don't think that there's some people. I don't think that there's some people that want us to come out of this realm. I think there's some people that benefit, that really benefits from us being in this place of divide.
You're probably right. There's a scenario going on right now. Is there anybody else on the line, or is it just me and you?
It's just you and I right now, brother.
That's crazy. Have you you know who Tucker Carlson is, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, you see he's been released from Fox News. The same with Don Lemon.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Being released from CNN. So
yeah,
there's a whole bunch of stuff right now going on with that. And I don't know if you pay attention to the news, but these channels where he's coming out of, they're painting this picture already, saying, hey, if he says anything, X, Y, Z, blase, blase, blase. They're trying to preface the public already because he has some things that he wants to say, and they're trying to make sure he can't say them publicly.
Mm-hmm.
And so he released a statement yesterday on whatever platform that he was on. It's a little short 3-4 minute thing where he was very direct, but he didn't tell the secrets that he wanted to tell.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you break it down, you read between the lines. This is totally different than what we were talking about, but I think it plays a role. So hear me out. But he basically said the old orthodoxes can't stand. And what he meant by that was he was talking about the news conglomerates, CNN, MSNBC, Fox News.
Mm-hmm.
He said they're fixing to come down,
Mm-hmm.
and whether that's by his hand or what's going on out there, but people are starting to wake up and see that these entities are playing games.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically said the same thing Rico and I said yesterday. You got one bird, but you got a left wing and a right wing. And he said that these entities, literally behind the scenes, talk to each other about what they're going to say on the news to get people riled up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they play this game to stoke that division.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't doubt that. I wouldn't doubt that at all. And because as a matter of fact, they move around because if I'm not mistaken, he used to be on CNN, wasn't he?
Yes, he
Yeah.
did. He used to
Yeah.
be a contributor on CNN. And the biggest thing is with him, he got so large that on his show, just his 15-minute unfettered speaking portion where he could just speak his mind freely, they gave him 15 minutes to do that. He would accumulate more viewers in that 15 minutes than every other host on all of the stations combined. They would watch for that 15 minutes and then they'd turn it off because that was actual truth that he was speaking, not what the corporations told him he could tell.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know that the news is there's something in that soup that's not clean. Because how can I look at different news channels, and I have the privilege of being able to look at different news channels in different cities and different states. How could they all say the same thing?
Yes,
They're saying
thank
the same,
you.
they're saying the same thing, and I'm like, wait a minute, and it's kind of one of those moments that kind of make you wonder, who's
They're
providing?
all given. I learned this during the Trump administration. They're all given a dossier, a
Yeah,
daily dossier.
yeah,
Every
yeah.
single one in every single state, all the way down to almost the city level.
Mm-hmm.
These are the things that you can talk about. These are your talking points. That's it. Do not stray from them.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that is mind boggling to me because they're literally sitting there right in our face trying to brainwash us.
And see, and I deal with all sides of the coin. I do that, and that's CNN, that's Fox, that's all of them have the same thing. And like you said, even down to your local news, they're all telling the same story. They're all telling the same story. So where do you go for the truth? Where do you go for the
You
truth?
have to you have to go outside the box.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's not based on political affiliation. There's a gentleman that used to be a part of Alex Jones' camp who dipped out and does his own thing now. And I'm trying to remember the name of the news outlet, but he watches a news outlet that on the side of the screen, it tells you if it's a right-based publication, a left-based publication, what the percentage of input from these sources are. Like it breaks every single article down so that you can see and get the most non-biased
Wow.
news articles. It's actually pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. I would like to see that. I definitely would like to see that. Let me go to our Tucson. Tucson, good morning, sir. Excuse me. How you doing this morning?
Don't you say it. I found the mute button.
All right, hey, you know, I was about to say it, brother. We got Rico on the line as well. We're gonna go to Rico next. But what we started out at talking about it, and it was just Ryan and I, so we kind of veered off a little bit, and I like the direction we went in, but I want to go back to where we started. Dealing with people, and you deal with people every day, Toussaint. Is everybody hurting or healing from something?
I know this old radio is not silent, so I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. It made me think.
Mm-hmm.
Both. I'm hurting from something and I'm healing from something. Let me just use it for example. I wrote a cup surgery.
Uh-huh.
I'm hurting and healing.
Mm-hmm.
Hurting is part of the process of healing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know when.
Is that across the board, physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally?
I would almost think so.
Wow.
It hurts to heal.
Mm-hmm.
It's painful. It I don't know. That's just me. It heals. It hurts to heal
Mm-hmm.
because you have to reflect on whatever caused the pain in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
But if you recognize it and you treat it, you got to pay attention to it. You can't ignore. You definitely can't ignore the pain.
Yeah.
You definitely can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
I wish you could. I'm trying to psych myself up, Raheem. I said that my pain is discomfort,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, I can feel it slowly healing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I
Mending
can,
itself back together.
yes, it's mended, but it's painful,
Mm-hmm.
and I got to do the right thing. That's uncomfortable
Mm-hmm.
because you got to position yourself, and that's life too. I mean, there's some things that has happened that has wounded the soul.
Come on.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
and some of the processes are painful
Mm-hmm.
and can be detrimental to your health. So
How?
people have a problem healing from the even spiritual pain.
Yeah.
They have a problem with it. That's why they call it. I'm gonna get off of this and probably let Leonard jump in because he'll be good at that one. That's why they talk about, which I don't pay that no mind. I don't even think there's such a thing as church hurt.
Mm. You say you don't think this is such a thing?
No, no, church ain't hurt nobody yet.
Mm.
Now, people,
That's not true.
well, that's just my opinion. But the church, I didn't say nothing about people because
Mm-hmm.
people are manipulative. People don't. The people in churches don't act like the church has instructed them to do,
Mm-hmm.
and the church itself has not, in my opinion, hurt nobody yet. That's my.
Yeah, and everybody have their own opinion, and so that's where you are with it. Let me go to Rico. Rico, good morning. How you doing this morning? Let it come to you next.
I can't complain, man. I'm just happy to see another beautiful new day, man.
Good deal. Good deal. Rico, how would you elaborate on this right here? Everybody that everybody that we come in contact with, everybody. Would you say that everybody is hurting or healing from something? Rico?
I'm gonna say some people are hurting. You got an echo.
Okay.
Some people are hurting, and they're hurting so bad to the point to where it's best to deny or deflect so they don't have to acknowledge it.
Mm.
I heard Ryan just tell Donald that wasn't true about church hurt not being real. So I'm gonna tell him it ain't true what he said about black people being more racist.
Mm.
Because the system of racism cannot be practiced by black people. We didn't, number one, we didn't create this system or this classification of racism, and we showed and create the system of breeding people and killing people and selling people, like what happened over here in America. I don't think there's one black man on this land in this country, or much less in the world, that can go and colonize another country or use their war machine and their fake money to implement it. I don't think there's a black country, a black continent that can impose sanctions or go and try to force homosexuality down your throat to make you accept our aid. That the reason why you need this aid is because of the system that we have in place for dominance and control. I don't think black people can practice white superiority. And that is what this problem is in this world, not just this country. We are all under the influence of white males that want to run the world, and they racism and classism is their thing. And to hear somebody say that it's practiced more amongst black people, I ain't seen a black person yet that kept a white man from getting a job. I ain't seen too many black people, you know what I'm saying, kill people, and the DAs know them and let them stay home for 2 months and don't arrest them. That's why Black Lives Matter exists. You know, so I you know, me and Ryan do talk, but y'all know I'm gonna call it down the middle. You ain't finna slide with that one with me. Now that might be your opinion. Now that might be prejudiced black people. There may be angry, disgruntled black people that act a certain way because of racism. So they act out towards white people because they suspect these white people still have the same mindset that most overt, covert, and unconscious racist white people have. You know that Colin Kaepernick documentary? He was raised by white people. They thought they was doing good, but they were still hurting them because they didn't understand. So unconsciously, they were doing racist things that they didn't even realize was racist. And he had to show it to the world. Racism, unconscious, inherited, learned. And it didn't impact on white people like it did black people. Now, if anything, racism has had a negative impact on white people for believing the lies that they believe that they're superior, smarter, more intelligent than everybody on the planet. That system of racism that said that their brains are bigger than everybody else's, so they're smarter. But then, okay, Asian brains are bigger. Well, it's an exception. Even though Asians' brains are bigger, they're still not smarter than us because they're yellow. Whatever the reason was, that whole system, that is no other race created that system of racism and classification but white people. So to say that, you know, is worse, we are the worst ones, or white people catch it the worst because of the way black people act, that is a response. That is a response. I don't think that's racism. I think that's a response to a racist system. And the system of racism, we cannot implement that. We don't have the power, the guns, the military. We just trying to fit into this system of racism. I mean, the American dream. We just been trying to fit in, not even realizing that's what we're trying to fit into because of the illusion and the title change. But yeah, we trying to fit into the American dream, but really and truly, we trying to fit and survive in white supremacy and white racism, and that whole system is being ignored. And the way we respond to it, we're being accused. You know, it's almost like they call victim shaming.
Let me ask you this.
Rico, y'all racist because y'all act a certain way. Well, you know, history made us like this.
Rico, listen to this. Rico,
we weren't just born acting like this.
Okay, Rico, let me ask you something. When you say when a person say the American dream, by the definition of what you just given, is the American dream really a nightmare?
Yeah, man, it's been said a long time ago. It definitely is a nightmare. It's an illusion. It's an illusion. I mean, everybody can go back and tell a story of somebody in their family or somebody that they know that did everything they were supposed to do, and they still didn't get what was due to them because of their race.
Wow.
I got too many of my ancestors that told me about how white people raped them and did things to them, and they told them, ain't nobody gonna do nothing about it. You might as well not say nothing. And when they went to go get something done about it, then nobody do nothing about it. Then nobody say nothing.
Let me give Ryan
grandparents.
Let me give Ryan an opportunity to respond to what you just said. Ryan, what's on your heart, brother? Stay right there, Rico. Don't go nowhere, brother.
I don't think white people invented racism. I mean, the Chinese people is racist as all get out, and they wholeheartedly admit it, and they thrive on it. They will tell you that they hate everyone else that's not Chinese, and they laugh at us because we sit over here and argue about who's a racist and who's not, and they relish in it. We hate everybody. It's our strength. They've said it publicly. So I don't think white people have a monopoly on racism. I just don't. If that was the case, every white person would be a racist.
Do you think they have had or have a hand in the pushing of racism?
Oh, sure, of course. I mean, that's the proof in the pudding. You just look at the past.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But if it's kind of like saying when you say white people, well, which ones you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's white people of all different creeds across the globe. They ain't all the same.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
is the mindset that they have in certain instances, we're not gonna paint with a wide brush and say all, but is the mindset of a selector of them the same in regards to racism?
I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I mean, you got Russians, you got Ukrainians, you got most European nations, you got your northern European countries, your Germans. Germans killed Jews. Well, Jews look white too.
Let's do this right here. We got a couple other people I want to touch on. I know we got a few people on the phone as well as we got Leonard he on the video side with us as well. But name a group of quote unquote white people up under any umbrella that is fair and love black people.
Let's say, there go my work phone again. Let me get right back. Sorry.
Okay. Let me go to Leonard. Leonard, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Sister Marcia, blanket. Sister Marcia, blanket. Sister Marcia, blanket. Sister Marcia, blanket. Sister Marcia.
Leonard, what is that, Leonard?
Sister Marcia.
You got a mega mix going on.
Yeah.
You got a mega mix going on. DJ Leonard Jones in the house.
Yeah.
DJ Lynn.
Yeah.
Look at here. We got to come back to you, Lynn. I don't know what you got going on over there, brother.
Bow wow wow, yippee yo, yippee yay, bow wow, yippee yo.
Exactly. Cassandra, good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Cassandra, what do you say about where we are in the conversation right now? We talk about this whole racism thing. Do you think is black people racist as well, or can they be racist? Because it was pointed out that we don't have the economic prowess and the different things of that nature, the base, whatever that base is, to be racist. And I also asked the question to name one group of white people, regardless of across the board who it is, that love and is not racist toward black people. What would you say to that?
I'm waiting for that answer. And I guess once I hear that answer, I would be able to answer the question. I think Rico, said it best. The whole system of racism was designed by white people. And you can't get around that. You can't get around that. And the thing about Asian people, man, that just, I have some wonderful Asian friends. They love me and I love them. So I'm like thrown off by that completely. And we have talked about race on many occasions. And what has happened is their thoughts about black people have been fueled by white racists, by white people telling them that black people are all this, or black people, all of them do this, all of them thieves, all of them lazy, all of them. So when they meet black people, this is from my Asian friends, when they meet black people at first, they're like, oh boy, I'm in trouble because of what white people have put out. So I'm confused, but that's it for me.
Okay, well, I think to Ryan's defense, I hope, and he's on call and he's gonna come back in a minute or two, but I don't think he was saying all of them. I hope he wasn't saying all Asians or feel this way, because certainly you can't paint with such a wide brush. But I'm very
well. It sounded like a wide brush to me. I mean, and maybe I'm just not hearing right, because that's what it sounded like.
Okay.
And I know better.
Exactly. And
I hate to butt in, but this is a conversation me and Ryan had the other day about consistency. So I'm hoping too that he understands that when we say this about white people, we're not pointing with the wide brush. We man, human beings, we have a thing about being consistent and then being hypocritical. I think it was Monday. I was like, man, you know what? Sometimes I feel bad on here because I'm a hypocrite, man. And the thing is, we were talking about this the other day, and he was saying that somebody was talking to him about segregation and how it disgusted him to hear that kind of talk in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
But then in like 5 minutes, we was, in less than 5 minutes, talking about all the crazy people and all the crazy things and how people is. He was talking about buying some land in Vermont, getting some people that he had a lot in common with, and getting away from these people that are crazy and different. I'm like, so you want to segregate yourself? He said, yeah. I said, well, wait a minute. The other guy wanted to segregate himself too, but you felt something was wrong with it.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine that. In 5 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
you speak out against somebody saying they want to segregate themselves, but then you came right back and say you want to segregate yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they had the same reason. So I bring that up to say this. When he says this about, which white people you talking about, he should already know we talking about the white people that believe this.
Mm-hmm.
Just like there's
Yeah.
some Chinese people that do believe that.
Yeah.
But the thing is, this is going to be the hard pill to swallow. Those racist terms that those Chinese people use are white, European, English-speaking terms.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
They saying the same words that these white people say.
Mm-hmm.
And then nobody come up with it but these racist white people.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
This whole mindset against us, the way the Chinese think and talk about us, that's where they got it from. It's worldwide. This whole system of classification, we cannot ignore Carl Linnaeus. We can't ignore history. If we're gonna study history and learn our history and learn heritage, let's learn all the sadistic things that happen too.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the medical apartheid, the medical practices and experimentations on people. Let's talk about putting black people in zoos. I mean, I can go down the line and start talking about some stuff that white people did to our black people just in America as a norm, and that'll destroy all this black people or racist thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because we ain't never been able to accomplish none of the systems that they had created and accomplish what they did against us.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have the foundation of the system to accomplish that terror.
Mm-hmm. Wow. 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. Give us a call if you have an input on this. If you feel how you feel about it, whether you agree or disagree, give us your input on what you think about this whole situation that we're talking about right now. We would love to have your input. Let me go to okay, we got Ryan back, but I want to go to, before I do that, let me go to let me see who I have on the phone lines here. Make sure I touch everybody before. Let's go to Badger. Badger, what's on your heart? Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
All right. Make sure I hit the mute button.
Mm-hmm.
I've had this discussion with a couple of people before, and for me, it's hard to put into the same category what people use racism as today. When a black person is angry at a white person or a Native American and so on. Because to me, it doesn't seem the same.
What do you mean when you say seem the same? What exactly does that mean?
So
Come on, Badge.
So I've shared before how when years ago, as I was getting into my more into my culture and stuff like that, that some of the first experiences I had going on a res was, them pretty much calling me the white boy,
mm-hmm.
and having a very particular type of attitude. Not all of them, just some of them.
Mm-hmm.
And at first I thought it was racism. And I kind of had to, I talked about it a little bit with Rico yesterday, but I've been thinking about it ever since I was talking to him about it. I don't know if that is even it's in the same realm. Because to me, when you look at, I mean, both of them can be done out of anger or hatred. But what racism has become, as far as being defined by, at least in our country, in my opinion, is predominantly used by white folks toward black folks. And I can't, the way that it is done, I really haven't seen other races do toward one another or toward in the same manner as what whites have done to blacks. If that makes sense.
It does. It does. It does. Good deal. Leonard, I want to try your line again, brother. Talk to me.
Blanket, Mr. Musty, yeah. Blanket, Mr. Musty, yeah. Blanket, Mr. Musty, yeah.
Leonard, I don't know. Leonard, go out. Go out and come back in, brother. Go out and come back in.
DJ ALJ. MC.
I don't know what that is, man. I have no idea. You know, I've it's the same thing repeating. It's like I don't know what that is. Hey, Leonard, go out and come back in, brother.
We're gonna change the name to DJ Jazzy Jones.
Exactly. Exactly. Toya with a T. Good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. Good morning. How y'all doing?
Hey, doing good, sis. I let you listen to a little bit of the conversation so you can catch up to speed to where we are. But what's on your heart right now?
I don't know. I'm still kind of lost. What was the question?
Well, we started off talking about is everybody that we come in contact with on a daily basis, is everybody hurting or healing from something? And then we veered off into the racism thing. And do you think white people, I hate to say it like this, do you think white people are the most racist people on this planet? Because Ryan said that the Chinese are the most racist people, and they have no problem with letting you know it.
Is it prejudice or racist?
Great question.
I mean, that's right. Are we doing something right? So it's to each his own. I've met some phenomenal white people. I've met some phenomenal Asian. You know, I worked at a Thai restaurant.
Yeah.
Phenomenal Asians. And it's normally when they're Americanized. I mean, I'm just being honest, right?
When you say Americanized, are you saying, I hate that white mindset of thinking?
The American mindset of thinking. I mean, if we're going to call American way of thinking the white mindset of thinking, then so be it. But we're talking about the American mindset. And when I say the American mindset, you know, people that come over here fresh off the boat, that they come for a reason. They come for opportunity. They come for equality. They come because they didn't like the way things were going in their country. You know what I mean? I mean, let's just be 100. All white people weren't racist back in the day. But that's how I mean, who finna get the smoke? Ain't nobody finna be going against the grain and getting caught up. You know what I mean? So they kind of went with, that's the way life was, right? Just like at one point, what you gonna say, that men were racist towards women? Nah, we gonna use chauvinistic, right? But all men weren't chauvinistic, even though that was the way of life at one point in time. There were some men that was like, yeah, no, I don't do my wife like that, right? So again, I think it's to each his own. I think we get distracted by the smoke and mirrors, thinking that, you know, some people's perception is everybody's perception. And I don't think that white people are the most racist, right? Like, I feel like humans have the right to dislike whoever you want to dislike for whatever reason you want to dislike them for. And just because we're in America, we have a history where it was a majority of white people who did very atrocious things. And that's the culture for us, and that's how we feel. But I can't say that every Asian or every Chinese is racist. I mean, racist, why? Because they don't want to listen to their businesses. I mean, it's for generational wealth purposes. You know what I'm saying? I've noticed that most cultures, I'm not going to say races, but they stick together more when it comes to their race. They keep the money in their race. They keep the family and their babies, their marriages, you know what I'm saying, in their race for preservation purposes. So I'm not going to call them racist.
Even black people?
We don't do right. Paul, you got me stuttering over here now. we don't do right. So when it comes to, and I hate to have to say this, but I'm just being 100. When it comes to structures of families, we don't do right. We're the weakest. And a lot of other races have a different concept of structuring their families and keeping them preserved, whether it's financially, whether it's for the bloodline, generationally, or whatever. I don't think that we display that the same. So some of their perceptions on why they don't want to deal with us, I get it. I get it. But I'm not going to say that there's any race more racist than the other. Because again, in America, we only dealt with a majority. You know what I'm saying? That's like me dating a gay girl, saying that, oh, gay girl, you know what I'm saying? I've never dated a gay girl. You know what I'm saying? I heard stories. You know what I'm saying? I know what people say, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's true. You understand what I'm saying? So I haven't met a lot of racist white people. I've met a couple in my 40 years, 2, 3. I've seen more stories, right? But that doesn't give me the reality that all of them are more racist, because that's not my reality. That's really other people's reality. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to roll with, right, white people are the most racist. But what I will say culturally in America, yeah, that's going to be the perception of them, right? If you ask black people probably in China, right, because it's not a lot, but the things that do happen that have been, you know, deprived, right, they probably say yeah too. But if we go to Africa, where they're ruled by African armies and things of that nature, right? Do you think they will say that white people are racist? No, but I bet you they got stories to tell about their own black people that come and kill their own black kids, that come and drive, you know what I'm saying? That's governed by their own black men and women who still, you know, treat them atrociously. I bet you, you know what I'm saying? They won't say that it's white people or Chinese people because they're used to it happening from their own people. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't say that. I would just say that's the perception in America. I mean, I'm just being 100.
Good deal. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. And Toy, I'm gonna say to you, there's some people that's actually getting up off the floor right now, because when you said that black people are the weakest in regards to that category that you was talking about, and you knock some folks over. They like, oh my God, what? Ooh. And so y'all can get up off the floor now. Get up off the floor. Ryan, let me come back to you, brother. What's on your heart?
Yeah, so I think I'm speaking in terms that everybody else speak in, right? I'm not painting with no wide brush. Like Toya said, what we used to in this country is what we used to in this country. So I'm talking about Chinese people. I'm talking about our Asian brothers and sisters over there on the other side of the planet that fall under the guise of the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party. They're the ones that come out and they're the forefront and they're the speakers for those people. I know plenty of Chinese people that have been westernized that are not like that. But I've met plenty that have come over from China who will tell you that we'll pick apart our own people based on what city state they live in. We don't like them because they came from here. There's Chinese people that can look at other Chinese people and just tell by, forgive the description, but how tight their eyes are, where they came from in the country, and they don't like them. But they use that on a political standpoint as a strength. They use it as a strength. We don't like other ethnicities because it causes us to not have this infighting that you do over there. We use it as a strength. We keep to ourselves.
Is that a form of inner racism amongst themselves, or is that about towards everybody else?
I think it's kind of both.
Mm.
They don't like us over here because we don't adhere to their ways, right? Because we argue about silly shit. Excuse my language.
Hey.
Yep.
Mhm.
Hey. I'm gonna put myself in the corner. My bad. That slipped.
Mhm.
We argue about silly stuff
Mhm.
that we really shouldn't be arguing about at this point in humanity.
Mhm.
And they see that as a weakness, and they exploit that weakness. The same way the government here in our own country exploits that weakness, keep us arguing back and forth about stuff that we didn't even need to be arguing about no more in 2023.
Mhm.
We don't. If
Mhm.
we just unify and come together, we show them who's the boss, and they can't do that no more,
Mhm.
right? That's the privilege of living in the United States, is the people have the power, not the government. And we've lost track of that.
Is that the privilege and the curse?
Yeah, because it is both. It's a privilege that we have the power, and it's a curse.
Mhm.
Because it's a curse, one, because we don't use it at all. Nobody really paying attention all that much on a broad spectrum. And two, because we let them do it to us.
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
my
Wow.
opinion.
Good deal. Good. Let me go to Leonard. Leonard, I hope we have a better connection with you, brother. Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Blanket, Mr. Monkey, yeah. Blanket,
Leonard,
Mr. Monkey, yeah.
Leonard,
Blanket, Mr. Monkey, yeah.
I don't know what Leonard got going on over there. Hey, Leonard, call in, brother. Call in. Call in. You just yeah, exactly. Rico, talk to me, brother. What's on your heart?
Yeah, I was checking out the correct definition of racism, and it says that it is prejudice, antagonism, and discrimination.
Yeah.
And so I can get that. You know, that would go back if from Ryan's experience that, you know, black people may be the ones that seem like they may be the most racist, and that might be a true statement based on him saying that we might be the most prejudiced or the most, just, you know, we might discriminate the most.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to go back and talk about, let me see, I guess the version of white supremacy that involves racism. You know, the impact over here. So, you know, I guess I can't agree with what Toya is saying and what he's saying about in other countries. You know what I'm saying? But I think, you know, if we talking about what's going on over here, we may be able to be prejudiced, but that system, I'm gonna go back to the system of racism. That some white people benefited from it just for being white. They might not have been prejudiced, but they didn't turn down the benefit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they didn't turn down the entitlement. You know, the rights that they did have and black people didn't have. They didn't refuse those rights.
Mm-hmm.
So and they still benefited from it, even though they may not have, you know, approved of it. And some things they approved of, they didn't even understand it was racist. They just thought, well, that's just the way it's always been.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's that type of system. You know, when I think about racism and the practice of it, I can't name one time in the history that I can recall. You know, I mean, we could go back and look up African history and this and that, but I can't recall, you know, any history showing that black people had that type of entitlement
Mm-hmm.
or privilege in America to be able to control another race of people like that. I mean, the black people that did get in the power to be able to even control or own slaves, they owned other black slaves.
Mm-hmm.
It was a monopoly on who they owned. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it was a monopoly on who was bred and sold like dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, I guess that's the reason why I find such a disagreement with that type of interpretation, because there are still so many ways that, regardless of how prejudiced or how discriminatory a black person can be, the system could step in and show you that it works in a whole different manner.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna say something. Then I'm gonna say something. We're gonna move on. We ain't gonna touch it. We're gonna move on. How many people looked at that auction last night? Let me go to Leonard. Leonard, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Raheem, in the Morning Glow family.
Much better, brother. I don't know what's going on with your video line. It was, you know, I think you had some kind of a party going on, brother. You had some kind of mega mix going on. But what's on your heart about what we're talking about right now, brother? I know you got something on your heart.
Well, first of all, you have to start off and racism is a system of oppression based on race. Anybody can practice it. Anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very narrow-minded. Every time someone mentions racism, you automatically jump to white to black because that's what you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're used to. But racism is practiced all over the world. It becomes a black and race issue when black and white people are involved. But there's lots of racism that does not include black people at all, or white people for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
Chinese is a terrible example to use.
Why is that?
Because China is a very homogeneous culture.
Mm-hmm.
So they have, their racism is more nationalistic. It's based on where they are. They're Chinese people because that's who the majority of them are there. The majority of them, that culture, if you look over there from afar, you're like, boy, those people sure do look alike. That's what you would say. That's what it's called Chinese, because the majority of them are those people. And they share a lot of characteristics that is very different from other places.
Leonard, so basically, what I'm hearing you say, Leonard, do you think? Let me say this, Leonard. Do you think black people could be racist against each other?
Most definitely. It's a practice of oppression based on race. It does not matter who practices it. It's a system of oppression based on race. Now, what some of you suffer from is what is called internalized racism. And you've allowed stereotypes and other people's values and images that you have experienced. That's your racism. Now, what you're doing with it and how you mixing it up in your head forms will come out of your mouth.
So black people could be racist against each other, but there's no racism in China. They can't be racist. Chinese people can't be.
No, that's not true.
Okay. I'm just trying to clear it up for the listeners, brother. Go ahead, talk to me.
Racism can be practiced by anyone. It's a system of oppression based on race.
Okay.
Like sexism is a system of oppression based on sex. And all your other isms have these characteristics. Racism is just not what you want it to be. You go look at it, go study it. There's a lot more involved than how you feel.
What? Okay, so explain to us in a nutshell, brother, because I need to move on to a couple of, as a matter of fact, I'm going to Cassandra next. But in your estimation, in your experiences in life, what is racism? What would you categorize racism as being?
I don't care. It's a form of oppression based on race. That's what it is.
No, in a nutshell, point blank, period.
Period.
Okay.
You don't get to create your own definition.
Okay. Cassandra, what's on your heart?
Now, if you are creating your own definition, then it's up to you to explain it. And if only you agree with it and it don't fit all these other things that come up during conversation, that means there's a problem with it. And it doesn't fit. So instead of being so romantically involved in what you want it to be, look at what it actually is. Go look at it different places. I've worked with various different types of black people who have expressed how they're treated. Their skin is black and they're only looked at because of the color of their skin. When really they could be Guafina people.
Wow. Hold right there for a second, Leonard.
It oppresses Guafina people for other black people to believe that you're all the same.
Okay.
Because you're not.
Okay. Hold right there, Leonard. Stay right there. Don't go nowhere. Don't you go nowhere. Stay right there. Cassandra, what's on your heart?
Nothing. Nothing.
What in your eyes, Cassandra, what is racism?
It's pretty much the same definition that Leonard just gave.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I don't know, but I don't know about most black people on here, but I've experienced it firsthand,
Mm-hmm.
and it is not a good feeling. And
Yeah.
I mean, man, I all I know is black people in this country have been treated like crap and still being treated like crap.
Mm-hmm.
We are we man, I can't just skip me because I'm gonna say something. It's all right.
Good deal. Tucson, talk to me, brother.
Well, I was just thinking about it. You ever called a Latino a Mexican?
Yeah, problems.
You sure do. I don't know what they got against each other, but it's a strong dislike.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't have said that. Matter of fact, I don't know what it is, and I'm just use this for an example. We can even don't even have to entertain the conversation any further. But when they called Badger a white guy, I don't know why you feel like, because being American Indian, the worst thing that you could be called is a white guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that I don't know, from the conversation that started hurting and healing to racism, I'm finding out that a lot of people ain't healed from some things, for some wounds they have suffered. Well, I can't even say they suffered it.
Mm-hmm.
They heard that it had been suffered by their forefathers.
Mm-hmm.
And that pain frustrates. Really, sometimes you go as far as to say that it makes people, just the thought of it, keep talking about it. I'm gonna get mad as hell.
Hey. Lord. Badger, talk to me, brother.
And I guess, or at least to me, it's figuring out or looking at the different understandings based on, I wouldn't say pure say the definition based in the dictionary, but the usage of the word today. Because as Rico said earlier, when people when the topic of racism comes up and the word white is used, it always sounds like it's a generalized white brush. So the words and terminology, to me, is almost like it has to be weighed, because definitions change over time. And racism, the people that has done racism has done horrible things.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not gonna. And if I understood what he was saying earlier, I believe it was Ryan, how the Chinese can tell other Chinese where they are from and things like that. That's a tribal thing to me. That's knowing which where a person comes from,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe disliking that tribe. I didn't know that could be considered racism. That's a new part of a definition to me. Because certain tribes don't like other tribes sometimes. So it's hard for me looking at the main issues without discussing the systematic racism, discussing hatred in general, or biasness, and the fact that classism has honestly brainwashed enough white folks that I don't think they're ready to understand how systematic racism even works, because they're too busy worshiping the rich folk.
Wow. Okay.
That's why this topic is still to this day too bloody hard to actually be successful, where true common ground is found.
Wow, that's good. Ryan, talk to me, brother.
Yeah. It's I'm just looking at chat laughing at Tucson Toya. Because it's true, right? Like, you call a Guatemalan a Mexican, you finna die. It's one of those things, you know. I remember talking about, we'll talk about the wall, right? Everybody talking about the border wall and how it's not cool. It's not cool. Well, it's a border wall between Guatemala and Mexico, because Mexico don't want nobody coming over from Guatemala. So, you know, I used to laugh at stuff like that. Like, we all focus on these internal things and miss the big picture sometimes. But yeah, it runs deep, man. All this stuff is just it becomes redundant after a while when we talk about it all the time. You know what I mean? It's like sometimes I feel like, man, don't we have something else to talk about?
Has it ever gone away though?
No, and like we've had that conversation before, it never will until people learn how to unify and overcome their differences. And it's crazy. Like, it's something that I can't, off the top of my head, even fathom, because like we was talking earlier, we hate to do it. We hate to see it. The labels that everybody put on everything, including ourselves. But I grew up in a world where I walk out the house and I just see another person. I don't care that you got a tan and I don't. You must have had better tanning lotion. You know what I mean? Like,
wow.
I hate to be so silly about it, but that's how I feel. I feel like it's silly, you know, for people to still have these mindsets and preconceived notions. Call me naive if you want to, but that's how I was raised. I wasn't raised in a white house. I wasn't raised in an all black house. I was raised in both. You know what I'm saying? So for me to even see people walking around here today acting certain ways from both sides of the fence, I'm like, what are y'all doing? Like, why? What's the purpose in this day and time? What's the purpose?
Is a part of your prayers that we reach a place of peace?
Absolutely. Every day. Every day. Like, I've said it before and I'll say it again. And like, unification is the only way forward. There is no other way. You know, just as much as God despises religion, he despises the way we act towards each other even more, because we all came from the same place. We all the same people. We all bleed red. All of our meat is pink underneath the skin. You know what I'm saying? So why can't we just all call each other pink? You take off that top layer.
Those 2 tires aren't yours?
Nope.
All right, just double checking.
Yep, thanks, brother. We all pink underneath, right?
Wow.
You find me somebody that's not, I want to see them. I want to shake their hand.
They're a little bit different. They're a little bit different. Cassandra, and we started off talking about people hurting, and I want to go back to that for a second or two. Everybody that we come in contact with, is everybody hurting and or healing from something?
Yeah, most people. I would say yes. Something that they're coming through or trying to heal from, and it may be as far back as childhood, because I deal with people that they're still dealing with with stuff that happened to them in childhood, and they never got over it. So we can sometimes we marginalize people's pain because we don't understand their pain. You understand? And if you've never been in the situation, you can say, I don't understand, and you might not understand why a person is so passionate and feels the way they do. It's crazy. So all I can say is, we need to deal with our pain, but people also need to be more sensitive to other people's pain. That's whether it's through what you say or what you do. We have to be more sensitive to other people and not, want to be dismissive of what they're going through just because you don't understand it.
Wow. Do people still care, Cassandra?
Hell no.
Hey! God almighty. Okay, in a nutshell, I guess that's her answer. Rico, what do you say to that, man? In this day and time that we're living in, do you think people really still care for each other?
Some, but not to the extent that where they're willing to sacrifice themselves or what they want. Their benefit or their privilege. I love what Cassandra said, but just then, man, because you do have to be considerate of other people's experience.
Yeah.
These conversations can get redundant, but then when you open up that can and bring it to the table, you can't expect nobody to not address it.
Yeah.
Because that was not the topic at first. But somehow Tucker Carlson and Fox.
Yeah.
This, what I'm saying? This political thing came up, and then Alex Jones came up, and then, in my experience, I'm seeing more black people that's racist than white people. Wait a minute. Now you ain't just fixing to say that, and then come back and wonder why the conversation is redundant. Well, you just introduced it, and now you got to hear the backlash from that thought process, even though that's his opinion. Like Cassandra said, from our experience, we know totally different. Because history tells me that white people over here didn't have to march for civil rights or didn't have to get emancipated. White people don't even have to celebrate a Juneteenth. They didn't have to worry about not realizing they were released from slavery.
Rico, let me ask you a question.
Let
me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
And this is a very I ain't gonna say unfair question, but it's a tough question. It's a tough question, but I know you're very equipped to handle it. What did black people do to the world to become so hated?
I don't know. I believe it may have been more equipped with natural blessings. That's what it seemed like. It, all the because that's what a negative. If our skin is supposed to be looked at as negative, but then at the same time, somebody want to keep getting tans and they want to get as dark as they can. Maybe it's envy. Maybe it's some type of envy, and we not knowing really and truly what our worth is. That we don't understand where it's coming from. But I did read that melanin is worth so much money a gram.
Yeah.
I mean, what man in his system put a man-made dollar amount value on the melanin in our pigment? Think about that. So it's something valuable about us. I know John C. Penney was a slave over in England, and during his work as a slavery, this was a white man. He worked alongside some Native American Indians, and he worked along some Western, and he worked among some black slaves, Africans. And he said, man, for some reason, we can't keep up with these black slaves. So his sister bought him out of slavery and then loaned him some money, and he bought his own slaves. And he hired all black people. But he didn't treat them like they did over here in America. He treated them the way they were supposed to be treated. He let them work their way out of slavery, gave them a community. It was slightly different than the slavery he was in. It was closer to indentured servitude than what was over here. But I think that was some envy, because you read in history about some of the wonders, even though they try to make us seem so primitive and savage. you start looking at the pyramids and all these other things that they praise us about. Little did they know they were praising us. You know, little did they know that butt that Sarah Bartman had was going to be something that they want to have surgery to get it like one day. But we see now that they marvel at different things about the black body. So you know, it may be envy, but I want to read this definition because Leonard had gave a definition, and I think that's sort of his personal definition, because he did say that, you know, you can have your personal definition about it. And like Badger said, over time, definitions change. And we know in America, the definitions are always going to change, and stories are always going to change so they can minimize the guilt of what went on. But this definition or this question asks, what is racism? And it says that racism is the process by which systems, I'm going to put that in all caps, systems and policies, actions, and attitudes create inequitable opportunities and outcomes for people based on race. Racism is more than just prejudice. It is more than just prejudice in thought or action. It occurs when this prejudice, whether individual or institutional, is accompanied by the power to discriminate against, oppress, or limit the rights of others. So racism is not oppression, it's the power to oppress. And I don't think a whole lot of white black people don't have the power to do that in this time. Now, maybe in the past, but I don't know if it was called racism back then. So yeah, I like what Badger said, though. That's tribalism. It happens in Africa. What Ryan spoke of happening in China, it happens in Africa too.
Yeah.
Tribalism.
Yeah. Exactly. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Cassandra, ask you the same question. What do you think? What did black people do? What did they do to the world to become so hated?
They were born.
Wow.
That's all it took.
Wow.
We were born with this color. It ain't nothing else that we've done except the fact that we were born to this color. Something that we did not control has caused a lot of people to hate us just because of the melanin. What the heck is that? What the heck is that?
Thank you, Cassandra. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Leonard, what do you say it is? What was done, man, or not done to make the world, not just America, but the world, dislike or even hate the black man so much?
Well, first of all, that narrative is just what it is. It's a narrative. It's a very narrow, subjective view of this world. If you believe that the world hates you because you're black, you need some help.
So
you need some serious help.
So you don't think there's no evidence that the world disliked the black man or black people? You don't think there's no evidence of that?
Who is the world? Give me the world phone number. Where can I find the world?
Leonard, as educated as you are, brother, I know I certainly don't have to explain to you what the world is.
That's the point I'm coming from. So I really don't go back and forth about subjective things.
So you don't think the world hates the black man? You don't hold on. You don't think Leonard, you don't think the world hates black people?
No.
Wow.
No, not at all.
Prove to me differently. Prove to me differently.
Because there's more than black people in the world.
That has nothing to do with the question, brother.
Every other person that is not black hates you. If you believe that, something's wrong with you.
Then look at the evidence of time. Who has been treated in the way? Who would name any other people, Leonard, who has been treated the same way that the black people, I was gonna say black man, but black people has been treated throughout history of time? Name one other group.
Romans treated Jews worse.
Wow.
Slaves are slaves wherever they're at. Slaves are to be used by other people. And that's what was happening. Now, how you feel about, my coffee darker than your coffee and all this kind of stuff is a subjective view of slavery. Now, if you want to talk about American slavery,
so there's no reality in my question. So basically, what you're saying
No, I
is there's
did not
no.
say that.
Mm-hmm.
You said that.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm asking you a question, brother. I'm the question asker. I'm asking you a question. Is there any reality in my question?
No.
Mm-hmm.
There's some reality in every question.
Mm-hmm.
So the notion that, one, like I said, people impose their subjective opinions on different types of phenomena, and they can come up with their own way of believing.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean that everybody has to believe that way.
What happened when what happened when that when you what happened when you pour fact? What happened when you pour facts into what you're saying is subjective?
Facts are just facts. What are you gonna do with them facts?
Wow.
You create your own narrow, your narrow view of something. That's what a narrative is. You can take one fact and build a whole story about one fact that is not always true everywhere. All the time.
So the world loves the black man. We just missing it. We missing it, man. The world loves the black man. The world loves black people.
Loves you. If you think that the world loves you, you just as crazy as people who think that the world hates them.
So there's no middle ground on this thing. It's just you. Everybody's just crazy. Everybody's just crazy. Either you're gonna be crazy for this or you're gonna be crazy for that. But at the end of the day, everybody's just crazy.
Everybody has their own point of view of things. Now you have various conversations that some people would never be invited to because it's not a conversation that goes anywhere, especially when you're trying to solve problems. If you just want to get together and complain, have that type of meeting. And I'm pretty sure people don't mind coming, but those people leave that same meeting just as confused, just as broken as they did when they came.
Toy, say everybody is crazy.
On the side of activists working to accomplish something, these conversations are just redundant. They produce no fruit. Because if you just want to believe that people hate you because you're black or white, there's nothing anyone can do for you. You'll never be happy because you'll always be what? Black or white. That's why you're miserable.
So basically, what I'm hearing you say is just ignore everything that's happening. Just live in this whole come by y'all world. Forget everything that's happened. Forget everything that's happened to you. It's just a myth. It's not real. No, none of these things really happen. It's just your mind is playing tricks on you.
That ain't right, man. Hold on, that ain't right, man. Let her tell them the truth. Let her tell them the truth.
Not everybody else. So it just depends on what you choose. You can say all these awful things about black people and look at all the examples where that is not true. I don't care how.
Well, again, like I say all the time, brother, we're not gonna paint nothing with such a wide brush. But what I'm saying to you is looking at the fact, and I asked you a question about who has been treated worse, and you gave me your example of what you thought it was. Okay, that's your example. My opinion may be a little different. Hold on, then we stay right there. Don't go away. Let me pull some more people into the conversation, and I'm certainly coming back to you. You can believe that I'm coming back to you. But Rico, what was you saying?
He's telling the truth because that is what you did. You did paint it with a wide brush again, even though that might not have been what you meant to do. And see, I think what it is it's not that the world hates black people, but there's a system and an influence that has a domination and I'm gonna say an influence in this world that does put us at the bottom of the totem pole and is targeting us. There are systems
where can the black man go? Where can the black man go? Explain this to me and help me understand, because maybe I missed something. Where can the black man go and find absolute peace, where he don't have to worry about all the other things that he deal with in today's time here in America? Where can he go and find that peace?
It depends on what his peace is. I mean, there are people that love black people. You hear people that was in the military say, man, we go to Germany and they treat us like kings. You got people that don't come back to America, but they stay where they are because they like the treatment better. They like the way of life better. So, I mean, we have to be consistent. We can't go and paint this wide brush and then come back and say we're not going to do it. Because there's in a certain aspect with the language that you use, you did paint that wide brush again. You used that wide brush when you said the world hates black people.
Well,
and the world doesn't. My
thing is this right here. My question is, where can he go, the black man go, he or she, the black woman go, and find an absolute peace where she don't have to worry about any of these racism or racist behaviors. Now, I mean, now to
He
your
should
point,
be able
to
to
your
just
point,
go home.
to your point. Nah, come on, man. There's hell in the house too. But to your point, it I may have painted when I said when I said
what you just say? Hey.
Hey, then hey, there's hell in the home too, brother. Hey, I'm gonna tell the truth, tell the whole truth. But my thing is this right here. To say the world may be one thing, but at the same time, I know that because I know people. I've traveled, done a lot of traveling myself, and I know people that's traveled all over the world, and I know that there's nobody has been in the answer to the one place. They say, well, it depends on, they did pretty much what you did. It depends on what their piece is. They divert from my question and not answer my question directly. I asked, where can a black man go and find absolute peace where you don't have to worry about the racism and all the other ills that he has to deal with here in the United States of America? And everybody says, they never answer my question and give me a physical place. It depends on what his piece is. It depends on what he's looking for. It depends on what, okay, that's beautiful, brother. But my thing is this: nobody has given me an absolute physical place where he can go and find peace that he's looking for. Nobody has given me. I've asked this question for a long time, for many years, and nobody has given me an absolute physical place where he can go. And so that's just my point right there. Go ahead, Rico. I don't know if you finished your thought, brother.
Yeah, I guess you pretty much asking where can we go and not be affected by it.
Exactly.
Okay, I get what you're saying. Yeah, because you could be in Africa and get affected by it.
Exactly.
You could be in your home. So yeah, I get what you're saying, man. But that once again, that's clear language. That's the communication thing of actually just having I'm gonna say being precise on what you're trying to get, because sometimes we don't understand the questions. I get it. But based on the way, I just had to think about what you were saying. Yeah, that's a hard one to answer. Where can a black man go and avoid not having to deal with it, period?
Exactly.
I don't know.
And that's my thing right there. Like I said, I've asked this question for many years, man, and nobody has given me a physical place. Maybe we got Curtis with us this morning. Curtis, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning? Curtis?
Hey, what's up, Ray? What's going on, fam?
What's going on, man? Sound like you got a cold over there, brother.
Nah, man, I'm good. Just tired, man.
Okay. Curtis, I asked this question, brother, and I want you to tell me. I want you to answer this question because I have yet in this life that I'm living in got an answer. Where in the world can the black man go and find absolute peace, where he don't have to worry about all the stuff that he have to deal with, racism and all this, all the different things? Where in the world? Give me a physical place where the black man could go in this world and find that peace.
I don't know, right? Closet.
Wow, this dude said the closet. Okay.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I haven't. That's not a lived experience that I have had.
And Curtis, you've been in the military. You traveled around the world a couple of times, right? You've been military.
Absolutely.
Okay.
There's not a place that I have heard of, seen, or felt as a black man, as a human being. I mean, man, that's a good question. It's a question that a lot of people don't want to hear, but I haven't. I'm sorry, I haven't partaken that as much as I would love to. I haven't been offered the opportunity to partake in that.
Wow. And we have Cap with us as well. And I know Cap, he's traveled the world many times over as well. And maybe he can answer this question for me. But Cap, where can a black man go on this planet and find absolute peace? And good morning. How you doing this morning?
Hey, peace to the gods.
Hold on, Cap, before you go. Raheem, did you want to rephrase that question to what you said you meant as far as where can black people go and not be affected by racism?
Yeah, let's do it that way. Appreciate that, brother.
Question again, my brother.
Cap, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Ask me the question again.
Where on this planet can a black man go, or black woman, as far as that's concerned, and not have to deal with the racist thing that they have to deal with here in the United States of America?
Well, everybody is not in hell, and everybody is not bothered by racism in a specific place. Is very difficult, but to believe there's not a place is to be, as Mike Tyson say, ludicrous.
Mm-hmm.
There are probably sticks, when I mean sticks of in Africa, in the jungles, in the tribes, deep parts of Africa, where the exposure of racism probably has no effect because they're not in contact with the European, or they're not in contact with that affects their livelihood, which means they're able to provide for themselves without any outside influence. To believe there's not a place on the planet like that is for us to say, come on, man. Now, absolutely, where? There's only one place that you really can be where you're not affected by none of that and have peace, and that's death itself.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. When you got peace is when you're dead. That's it.
Wow.
And so I do believe that there is a place. I don't know specifically, but I just believe that God provides his peace to whom he please, when he please.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you where, when, but there is a human being or human beings somewhere on this 196,940,000 square miles of this planet Earth that is experiencing peace, and without the influence, without the outside influence of those who can affect it. I can't tell you where, brother, specifically. I've never been there. The only place I ever been where I had peace is what I experienced a week ago.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
that's
sir.
the gospel.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's good. That's good. Cassandra, what's on your heart?
Yeah, I'm Cap. When I tell you the peace that I felt when I left this earth, man, it was like, it was so good that I pleaded not to come back. And I had a husband and 2 children. I pleaded not. I said, I want to go with you. I just kept saying, I want to go with you. I want to go with you. Because wherever you was, wherever that you was, that's where I wanted to go. But I wanted to mention really quickly, I saw a documentary the other day, and it was a white guy that went to some deep African area where there was cannibalism practiced for many years, right? They don't do that anymore, but that's what they used to practice. Mm-hmm. And when he went to that village, I mean, these people embraced him. They were showering him like he was, you know what I'm saying? He said that he felt like he was home. And here it is, all these black people, and the women ain't got on no bras, and some of the men, they had nothing covered. They had to, do the little blink out where the little wee was in the bottom. But he said he felt like he was home. That's one thing. We can say anything we want about black people and whatever. But we are some of the most loving and accepting people on this planet. Nobody can tell me anything different. And I want to say to Leonard, when I said about the hate, I'm not blanketing and saying, black people, everybody hate black people. I never believed that. And if that's what it sounded like, I want to correct that, because there are people around the world that accept black people. And I'm not saying everybody hates us, but there are a whole lot of people that hate us because of what white people have said about Black people and who we are, they hate us for that reason and no other reason. Because they don't know, they have never interacted with us, but they've been taught and told how we are from white people.
Leonard, you want to respond to that?
I mean, listen, there's nothing for me to respond to. What do you want me to respond to?
I just, hey, when somebody calls a name out, I go back to that person, see whether they want to say anything, brother. That's merely what I'm doing. Do you have anything you want to say?
No.
Okay.
I don't know what was said.
What Cassandra just said.
That's what Cassandra was talking about, her experience, right?
No, she said when she said something and she addressed you. Cassandra, do you want to address it again or put it out there again or?
No. When Leonard said that if you believe that all people hate you, there's something wrong with you. That was not what I was saying, because I said that. I know I was one of the people who said that, but I did not mean all people hate all Black people, everybody around the world. That's not what I meant. That is not what I went. So because we're on air and people are hearing this all over the place, I want to clarify that is not what I was saying, because I've said I have Asian friends that I love. I have white friends that I love. I have Mexican friends that I love. So, it's nothing like that. But I just wanted to make that point clear that, because of your response, that if you believe that, then you're crazy. That's not what I believe, So I just wanted to make that clear.
Okay. I have no response to that at all, because if you don't believe it, you're not crazy. So.
Okay, good deal. Kurt, what's on your heart, brother? Kurt, you there?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Toussaint, coming to you next, brother. What's on your heart? Talk to me.
Well, a lot on my heart right now.
When
God got you, He got you. When you got you, it's always chaos, foolishness, and drama. When God got you, it's always a level of peace that surpasses all others. That's what's on my heart.
That's good. That's good. Toussaint, what's on your heart? And Badger, coming to you next.
Yeah, well, and I think like this, I guess. I don't carry no kind of weight like that on my shoulder. I just do me. If they like me, fine. If they love me, fine. They hate me, good. There's just this thing in society that sometimes we create or we cause people to feel. There are some people that cause people to feel a certain way about them because of the way they act. Now, everybody that don't act like that, but they like the forerunner for their culture. And some of certain people, I can't say that because you're going to say, hey, go around acting a fool all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, it don't make no sense for you to conduct yourself. I mean, really, and see, there is a culture in, per se, like if I was in Africa, there's a culture and a dance or a movement, the way that they conduct themselves, that's their culture. But in this country, it's kind of strange for us to walk around exploiting ourselves. And people be like, ugh, them people.
So Toussaint, am I hearing you say some of the things that happen to even us as a people is based on how we act and conduct ourselves?
In some instances. And I think that it's just me because I wasn't there. In the amazement when I don't know what they did, they came here or we were here, or when they went over there and they saw them big butt-breasted, golly, my God, from Zion.
Lord Jesus. Don't know what turn you're taking right now, brother, but you sure taking one.
Yeah, but here's what I'm looking. Tell me something now. Look. Oh my God. Some kind of way, I got to have or I got to have some of that. I'm trying not to say what I'm trying to say.
Oh, you saying it, brother?
But you
Oh,
know,
you saying it? No, you ain't trying too hard. Cause you still
okay,
saying it. Go ahead.
my point is made.
Yeah.
To the point where I'm gonna drag them bound and chain, and I'm gonna take them over here because there's a uniqueness about them that can be beneficial to me, but the strength in them I don't care for.
Mm-hmm.
To the point where the strong man, I'm gonna break him down before everybody. Because you know the buck breaking was in the mix.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then our women were brutalized and raped so that we can have some of their children. Mixed races started long time ago.
Yeah.
Our kids are not just new to this. This is not a new thing. When Massa Jim, or whatever you want to call him, pulled Kizzy off to the side and took her by force. At the same time when he was hanging Bob, Billy, whatever his name was, down on the tree to make sure that he wouldn't come home to his wife, take his wife and create a child.
Mm.
It was just, but you see what I'm saying? I hope you see what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But now we, not personally having anything to do with it, walk around with that chip on our shoulder and make up and cause everybody to feel like when we enter the room, I'm the hated one. If you walk around like that, that's on you. And there are some people, time they enter the room with that attitude. And people react sometimes to the way that you present yourself. But if you just come in the room and stand up like a man and a woman, you know what they're going to do? It's just me now. They're going to treat you like a man or a woman and move on.
You would hope. You would hope. I would say that. You would hope.
Okay.
You would hope. Because I again with that, I know some examples whereas sometimes we were doing nothing and still became victimized by and like Leonard said, there's wicked people throughout the world, and nobody have the monopoly of being wicked. Nobody have the monopoly on that. No race have the monopoly of being wicked.
Could it be possible that you just so happens you just ran into one of those people that carried that type of mentality?
But see, my thing is, and to answer your question, absolutely. But at the end of the day, if that wicked person were to take you out, that don't mean you're any less dead. You're still dead by the hands of that wicked person.
Yeah, you can go around the corner and be rescued or protected by the same type of another person that looked just like her.
The young lady that lied on Emmett Till, and she passed yesterday.
Well, good riddance.
She passed yesterday. Wow, she passed yesterday, and I would really consider her to be a wicked person because of what she did to this young 14-year-old boy.
You heard what I said, and somebody might have said that's wrong for you to say that. Did you hear what I said?
What's that? Maybe I missed something.
Unfortunately, that was not good and kind for me, Christian fellow, to say good riddance.
Yeah.
But every dog got his day.
Wow.
So sooner or later, your actions, you're going to have to meet your maker and answer for it. It's coming.
It's going to knock on your door. But my thing was Emmett had no options in that situation.
Well, see, now what I'm saying is we think we got all of this thing in control until you no longer the ultimate judge come to play and you stand before him. And now, all the time that you figured that you done got away, you might have got by, but you didn't.
Good deal. Let me keep this thing going. Too, Sonka. Me and you be like me and Leonard. We'll play tennis all day long. Let me go to Badger. Badger, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
All right. Well, after this, I got to go because my appointment's already started.
Okay.
I was listening to everything that was said, and one of the things I've had to come to learn with my experiences is that peace has to become a piece of a part of your mind. We're going to come across hateful human beings. We're going to come across biased human beings. There's going to be people that don't like us due to stigma, biasness, color, disability, and so on and so on. I mean, people make fun of folks in a wheelchair. People have this stupid misunderstanding, like I've shared with you guys about me being taught that Black people have more privilege than white folks, or poor white folks specifically. Well, that's a lie. That's nonsense. That's brainwashing. That's illusions. There are times where that sometimes some of these so-called white folks that come across as racist ain't racist. They're angry and confused because they didn't go do research. They come from a place of ignorance, which is quite frequent, because you have to do research. And unfortunately, we live in a world where, depending on where I go, I'm going to be viewed as a white American. And, oh, he's coming to take our land. The conqueror. So it affects people across the board in different ways. And that's the part that I do my best to point out, is we all deal with different types of what I call isms. And depending on the individual and what race you're from, there are going to be different experiences.
Yeah.
I shared the other day how the Supreme Court there's a lawsuit going on with someone suing and making a case saying that the Indian Child Welfare Act wasn't constitutional. And if it's deemed unconstitutional, it's going to give our United States government the right to go take Native American children out of our homes again in 2023.
Wow.
So there's a lot of things that go on that some people absolutely ain't even aware of. If I wouldn't have brought that up, would you have known that?
No.
That and education, awareness, research. It's not everything's put on mass media. So we all deal with different types of hatred in different unique ways. Or anger, upsetness.
That's good. That's good.
I hope everyone has a blessed day. I'll be listening.
Yes, sir. You too, brother. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Toy you with a T. Talk to me, sis. What's on your heart? Toy, you there? May have lost Toya. Hopefully she'll be back with us in a second or two. She may have stepped away from a phone. I guess she's actually on a phone. But let me go to our Cap. What's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
You know, brother Ryan, you know what's interesting? That you mentioned the death of the lady that's falsely accused, Emmett Till.
Yes.
I got a different attitude. I'm just coming straight with no chaser. Now that I had experience, I hear people say, "I wish you die and go to HELL."
Yes, sir.
I wish you die and burn in HELL. And they believe that once you dead, that you're assigned to such a place. No such a place exists. I died. I didn't see no ATLL.
Mm-hmm.
I died. I didn't see no streets paved with gold and honey and all that. Now, if anybody else died and said, well, Captain, you know, I died too, and maybe you didn't get the golden ticket. Maybe you got the bronze ticket, but I was at. Do you know, Raheem, God does not have to wait till you die
Yeah.
to give you HELL while you live?
Yeah. Yeah.
That woman had hell every day of her life because she knew what she said and what she did. And that has been a torment. We don't know, but there has been. So she never since enjoyed, and I believe, in my opinion, any day of comfort and peace.
Yeah.
I'm sure she probably cried for death. So we don't have to keep thinking that in order for a person that God give you justice for the wickedness that you've done, that you got to wait till you die. I heard the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, you waiting to die for your devil to give you hell? I got a devil on top of this ground that can give it to you while you live. So I believe that peace can be acquired, as brother said, in peace in God. We all experience in America some form, of course, there's no question, of not overt racism, but straight up overt racism. Okay. We have lived with that for over 450, 460, going over 500 years. We have watched generations go, generations come, and generations go and come again. And that kind of attitude still pervades in America. And now the snake's head that starts in one place, its body have wrapped itself all around the world. Racism. That don't mean that all white people are racist.
Yeah.
You can go to China and find Chinese, racist Chinese. You can go to Japan and find Japanese that are racist. Racism is no longer limited to white people, but they could be the father of it. They done gave a man made a lot of babies around the world.
Yeah.
And I hear some people say, well, see, there's some black racists. Well, everybody on his show that's got any kind of intelligence, no, you can't be a black racist. Because the key to the very word is having the ability to stop anyone who are different that you dislike with the power of your influence. Negroes ain't got the power to influence nothing. Let alone to be able to stop white folks. Because I hate white people. I'm over the court. I'm gonna stop you because I hate you. So, I'm not saying that there's a possibility there may be somebody black that has $1 billion, $2 billion that they can use that money to stop. But the reality is it's very difficult, not impossible. But I do believe that peace is acquired, my brother, when man finds himself oneness with God.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
Daniel was thrown in the lion's den. And the 3 Hebrew boys, Shadrach, Meshach, and that bad Negro, they were thrown in the fiery furnace. And they looked in there, and there was a 4th person. And when they looked at with Daniel, there was another person there with Daniel, and Daniel found peace. The lion was asleep. There was no fire burning the 3 Hebrew boys. So we can't find peace, truthfully, only if you in submission to do God's will. He's the only author of peace, and he's the only one who could truly assign to you peace. That's what I have to say, brother.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Good deal. Good deal. Willow!
You tell Cap he didn't say it the right way. He's supposed to say, that's what's on my heart right here.
That's what's on my heart right here.
Get him, Willa. Get him, Willa. Get him. Good deal. You get him, Willa. I ain't gonna say that. You get him. Look here, when you get him, he been got. That's what it is. But Willa, what's on your heart about what we're talking about this morning? And good morning. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing good this morning. Good morning. Good morning, Morning Glow.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning.
What's on your heart?
So what I'm hearing is you're trying to find a place of peace.
Yes.
That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
From the conversation that I heard from Cassandra to Leonard Tucson and Badger and Cap. I tell you, Badger, he kind of laid it out real good, and so did everybody has. But just to make it plain, when you talk about peace, what area of your mind are you trying to put in a calm place? Because there are some people who actually practice that kind of peace with meditation. But the peace of life, what is that what we're truly talking about? The peace of life where we won't have to continually see the evil and wicked things of this world, and it shakes you, and it grounds your emotion to a point where, every time you turn on the news. So the peace that you're truly looking for, that inner peace. People go through something, Raheem, and they say, you know what? I couldn't even sleep last night, Raheem, because it was something on my mind.
Yeah.
But then other people say, you know what? I didn't have a problem because I was at peace. So see, there are different forms and kinds of peace that we look for as an individual. And I'm like, Cap, you know me. I know where my peace lies. It lies in the arms of God. When he hugs me and he tells me he loves me. When I look for that kind of peace. Because I know living in this world, he already warned me, you're in this world, but you're not of it. So he's already warned me by giving me that escape, that when I come to certain things in life, how it's going to throw me out of place, or how it's going to try to put me in an area where it won't give me peace. But then I can reach at him again and get that peace.
Come on.
That I need, because Raheem, there are some things that stirs our heart, especially when you're a person that cares. You have empathy for people. It's going to take you out of a place, but it's like an emergency light when you got God in your life and you reach for that peace. We have something to tell Tucson. Wait, you get that peace. Oh my God. Exactly. You know it, Raheem, because it ain't saying that you're not caring. It's saying that because of God, that you truly can be in a place of peace. You don't truly understand all those things that he do, and you don't understand why he does certain things. But when you trust him, Raheem, when you truly trust him, that's the kind of peace we're talking about.
Good deal.
That's what's on my heart, Raheem.
Say it. Toya with a T, talk to me, sis. Ryan, coming to you next.
Yeah, no, they preaching. How you gonna have me go on after the two preachers, man? They already told the flow up and dropped the mic. The mic ain't no good no more. After them two, gee whiz.
I believe you got it.
But no, I like where they going, right? Because they right about that, It made me think about that time in the garden. And we ain't had no peace since that garden action. And the only way that I've been able to find and recognize peace is in God now, right? I don't think we understand. We all step out the garden our own way. And I think when we start to treat things that God made differently, you're stepping out of the garden. That's a forbidden fruit there. When you start wanting to judge someone and make things happen to someone and have them have less than what God said they can have because of who they are. When you start to interfere with those things, God-given rights, I believe that's a eating of the apple movement. I believe that's something that we know. You know what I'm saying? Because God was good enough to allow you to exist and have everything at your reach with no, you know what I'm saying? No, nothing, right? For you to interfere with that, I think that's when you start, that's the eating of the apple. That's the forbidden fruit. That's when you start crossing into, you know what I'm saying, hellish boundaries at that point, because that's not what God deems for all of his children, right? It's even in heaven, it was a choice, right? The devil was like, yo, I can do better. And he had people or spirits that believe he could do better, and they went with him, right? And anytime you interfere with what God says you can have, I believe then that's when you start drifting off in a devilish type of way. So when we entertain thoughts of racism, when we entertain thoughts of jealousy, and I put that in the chat, that's a Cain and Abel syndrome. I don't like you because God favors you. I don't like you because, or maybe I got reprimanded by God, or whatever. You don't believe in God. Whatever. Maybe you just don't believe in God. So you mad just off of the GP of that. I wish I could have that kind of faith, but I don't. Oh, God don't. You know what I'm saying? And that now that creates a animosity and a jealousy within you, and that is not of God. That an animosity and a jealousy enough to make you want to steal, kill, or destroy, that right there is not of God. When we start thinking about the real rules of this human life we're living, you know what I mean? So in all actuality, it don't matter. You can be black, white, Hebrew, Jew, Chinese, Asian. It don't make no difference. When you start disliking somebody because of who they are and God created them, you in trouble. Period. Point blank. And there's a justice that's gonna be deemed on you. And the Bible tells you what justice that is. That Bible tells you, you know what I'm saying, what can be the possible ramifications, again, when you choose to indulge in wickedness or stealing, killing, and destroying for any reason. We don't have that right. You know what I mean? So and I think that's what leads to nations destructions, right? Our nation is self-destruct because we the people decide to take those powers into our hands and deem other people unworthy. You know what I'm saying? And it might not be me and you, but it's still we humans. We use that power in hellish ways, and we're paying the consequences of it, period, point blank. So, you know, I don't know what we gonna do, y'all, but we all got a little racism in us if we step back and really look at it, and we need to get to the root.
Yeah, exactly. Good deal. Good deal. Ryan?
Yep. I'm in a pretty much agreement with everything that just been said recently. You find your peace in God or through your spirituality, whatever method that you use. Me personally, I like to go out into nature. Like to get away from all the noise, if you will. As the noise of this world can really mess up your inner peace.
Absolutely.
All the news, all the chaos running around, cars, traffic, all that stuff. You get out into nature, and that stuff tends to go away. You can breathe a little easier. It's a man that I follow his YouTube channel in Norway, and that's what he do every day. This man goes to work, does what he's got to do, and then disappears off into the woods somewhere. Does his little YouTube video on his GoPro camera. And I've never seen another human being be so at peace in my life.
Wow.
He talks about real topics and hot button issues, but it's just like, man, you know, you don't really see any angst in him when he speaks. You don't hear it. And it's one of those things I aspire to do myself. Get away from the chaos, get away from the noise, or as Rico called it, segregate myself.
Yeah.
It's funny though, you know, because I'm not even going to go back to it. We had a place of peace in the conversation right now, and I'm gonna leave it there. That's what's on my heart.
Good deal. Good deal. We got a few more minutes before we get out of here. Who I say I'm gonna go to next? Rico, what's on your heart, brother? And then Leonard, coming to you.
Man, first let me say, man, I like what Cap said. He went back and reiterated that definition of racism.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, that's why I try my best to, you know, speak, you know, with walking clarity and consistency. You know, I'm not gonna say black people are gonna be racist or have racism in them. I'm gonna say we can be prejudiced.
Mm-hmm.
Because once we understand that power and ability to control masses and to influence the outcome, the conditions of these masses, we don't have that. We don't have that power. We just can't go invade another country just because and take their resources.
Yeah.
I tell them we ain't gonna send them aid because they don't want to accept homosexuality.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we ain't gonna help y'all. We'll help everybody else in the world, but now we got stipulations we're helping y'all. You know, and so I mean, you know, I think with being, you know, clear and consistent, what Cassandra did when she cleared up what she said, and, you know, and with how you asked the question about the world helping us or hating us.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that we mainly really have to try to make sure we do is to be consistent. When I brought that up about Ryan yesterday, saying that about segregation, hold up, now we got to be consistent.
Mm-hmm.
It sounded bad coming from one person, but then it came right back out of your mouth and it sounded logical. So, I mean, you know, we have to be cognizant and aware of our place and our influence and our actions, along with judging and observing, making sure we're being clear and consistent.
Did we die out? It's all over.
What the world going on?
What happened?
Well, I think we just blanked out for a minute, but I don't know. Rico was talking or what?
There you go. Got some.
No hate,
Yeah.
no terror has to
Sound
come
like a
behind it,
phone.
but it's still a very misplaced thought process.
Can y'all hear Rico? Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can now.
Okay, good. We had a little system hitch there for a second. Go ahead, Rico. Finish your thought, brother. Rico, you there? Oh, hold on. I got to get back in there.
There are 6 participants in the conference.
Okay. Yeah.
Please announce yourself.
Mufisila.
He's Nigerian
Mm-hmm.
and white American. So, I mean, you know, it might not ever be a real black American president ever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I mean, that is a condition that exists. And we can't ignore that was always something that was understood and believed not only by white people and black people.
Mm-hmm.
So now there is a system in place that has us believing these same things that they believe about us. We can't achieve. We would never get
The
an
recording
opportunity
has started.
to be this way.
Mm-hmm.
This session is no longer being recorded.
Sorry about that.
Hello?
I'm playing with this button over here, man. I hit the wrong button. Okay, but go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Wake up, go to sleep.
You don't listen to Leonard. Y'all need to go listen to somebody like Dr. Jane Elliott that can speak it in y'all language, speaking from y'all's point of view and y'all perspective, because she gets it. You know, no matter who y'all listen to, you can always find a counter until you find somebody that looks just like you that can relate, tell you your point of view of how you think, and then tell you where it's wrong, where you don't realize it's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You might be wrong to think that we're less intellectual. You might be wrong. You know what? Some people might not even understand when they say, oh, he's so well-spoken. Wait a minute. Is he expected not to be well-spoken? Why you got to make that a point when you hear a young black male talk?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that ain't racism. It is.
Exactly.
Because you had an expectation that this man, right off the top, wasn't going to be able to do this. And I mean, man, I could go on and on, but now when you talk about finding peace, we do have to acknowledge that there are some people that have shown that they found peace in the most oppressive and unjust situations. We have people that have been wrongfully convicted, and instead of them raising all kind of Cain and crying, they went ahead and took that sentence and they gave their last words with such a peace that I know that you can find it. Because I mean, even with the slaves that existed back in the day, some of them were born in slavery and died in slavery. Now, my little small mind makes me feel like every day was terror and trauma. But somehow, I guarantee you, there were some people that was born in that slavery and died in that slavery that still found numerous ways to find peace within that terror that they experienced.
Good deal. Stay right there, Rico. Got to pull some more people into the conversation. Hold on for 1 second. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother?
You know, we used to say this thing when I was coming out. Oh, I'm so glad I'm not you.
Wow.
That's my value. I have value regardless of what anyone else says or does or what they believe. If you carry around with you that black people ain't nothing, that black people are always less than, have nothing, ain't gonna never be nothing, and always empowered and the underdog, you can have that. There's no heaven I even want to sit next to you in with that mentality. Because it is not the truth. If you continue to perpetuate white supremacy when you at home by yourself, something wrong with you. It ain't everybody else's fault you feel like that. It's your fault. Real men don't bow down to this foolishness. Even a good Muslim knows. Even a bad Muslim knows. So heaven and hell is what you make it. Like Cap said, you ain't going nowhere. Where you think you going? What makes you think it's some place where ain't nobody doing no wrong at nowhere and you just gonna get to sit around and enjoy that? Where you think you going? Who you think you are? Stop carrying around these feelings. You can go to a place where nobody even concerned about your race, and guess who brought it there? You. You brought it into that room. You made it a priority in that room. That was your choice to do that. This is why don't nobody want to talk to you. Can't nobody have a conversation with you. And it's a waste of time to give to someone who thinks that way.
Wow. Okay. Cassandra, what's on your heart? Cassandra, you there? Okay, Cassandra may have stepped away for a second. Cap, talk to me.
Man, I like what my brother, Dr. Leonard, said. He's absolutely right. I lived over in the UK for a year, right? And I've never thought that I would see whites and blacks intermarriage in an interracial couples or an integrated society where race is not an issue. I went to an event, I was invited, and I've seen so many black and white couples. And I'm saying, man, all these brothers got these white women, man, and they just having a wonderful time. And so a lady, a white woman, comes over to me and she says, you know, you're from America. She liked my accent. You know,
yeah.
People over there in the UK love your accent. You love their accent, right? And she said, are you enjoying the party? And I said, yes. I said, I got to be honest. You know, I've never seen so much integration of whites and blacks together in my life without it being some problem of racism. And she said, well, like I said, the only problem was the one you brought. That's exactly what she said to me. And that's what I've learned. Yes, we have been affected so much by the brutality of a certain class of color of people in America that we can't believe that interracial justice can exist because of the pain that we have gone through in America. But when you go into another society where that is not an issue, and the issue becomes you, then you realize how effective as you and I have become, that we have been bitten and poisoned to believe that all white people are racist. No. To hate someone because of their color is so ignorant and stupid. It's like, you know, I hate that dog who cocked his leg up to that fire hydrant. I hate it. Why do you hate the very nature that which God created something? How do you hate black people or white people? What have we done to you that you hate us? Now I can see that if we took over everything and you and thrown you out, now you I hate them. I hate them, Bobby. They just came in and took over. And we was living on top. Now we on the bar. I hate those people. So we can't even come out the bag we in. That don't take a doggone thing from nobody. It's ignorance. Man is fighting ignorance. And I want to say this, Raheem, because this has been on my mind for the last week since my experience. I want to say this. I come back to a world that has not changed.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I have changed. So as Sister Willis said, we in the world, Raheem, but we're not of it. I'm not of it.
Exactly.
I'm no longer associate myself with the things that are displeasing to God. But what do I do, Allah? What do I do, Lord? What do I do, Jehovah? What do I do, Jesus? You brought me back. You could have left me where I was at. Hey, nothing venture, nothing gain. But I'm back. And I'm back, what, to testify? Am I back to sit on the sideline and just watch the show go on? No. God is letting me know I do have the ability to bring about some quality of change. Whether somebody else may not believe it, but I believe it because he brought me back for a reason. Definitely in this season. So now I'm thinking, Raheem, whoa. Man, he brought me back because God has said, yo, D, you got to help me build the kingdom of God right here on your partner. We got to let people know you can enjoy heaven while you live.
Absolutely.
Because death happens, I mean, and they don't know. I really like to tell them because everybody wants to believe there's a better place than this. Yeah, of course. But there's people on this planet that got heaven. And let me tell you something, man. You can get it. Heaven is waking up in the morning, man. You got your house on the beach and you looking. I like what Rico said. Rico said every day when he walks, he sees peace when he look at the birds chirp. There's people that walk the beach every morning. I don't know what that's like. There's people, man, that can eat from the fresh water and fruits. I don't know what that's like. There's people, man, that just enjoying nature, like Ryan said, going out there. You do it, Raheem. You know how peaceful it is when you fishing. You people, man, your mind ain't on, man, I got to pay my bill. My electric's due when I leave. You willing that big old bass fish. You ain't. So truly, we can't accomplish it. Now, I may die, but there's a lot of people that died of things they created that we are enjoying from the fruit of the labor that they're no longer here to enjoy it. But we enjoying it.
Good deal.
So I got to put my work in now.
Absolutely.
He got to do it and go on when God called me again. And then somebody going to enjoy somewhere, the peacekeepers, 10, 20 years from now, it's a big institution and worldwide, and people, hey, I don't know. But you know what? We're enjoying the fruits of somebody's labor as we speak.
Absolutely.
As we talked about Charles Drew, he created blood plasma. But then when he got in an accident, he bled. They wouldn't give him blood because he was a black man. But if it wasn't for Charles Drew, so you got a seatbelt. Why we got a seatbelt, Raheem? Because somebody died without one.
Exactly.
So everything that we have moved to advancement, somebody had to die in order for us to admit it.
Exactly.
We go to war. I don't want to die in the war. I want to enjoy the benefits of conquer. Somebody had to die.
All right. Look. All right, preacher. All right, preacher.
That's what's on my heart right here. I'm sorry.
Good deal. Good deal. Let's keep this thing going. Who we got? Oh, Shanavia. Good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, y'all. I'm good. How y'all doing?
Hey, doing good, doing good. Since had you listening in for a minute, wanted you to get the gist of what we're talking about. So what's on your heart right now?
Man, to be honest with you, I was kind of like in and out or what have you. So my intention was just to come in and listen and try to I was having withdrawals from not being with y'all for so long. So I just had to come in and get my fix.
There you go. Good to have you. Good to have you back with us. We're talking about well, I asked the question, where can a black man or woman in regards to that as well go on this planet, and find absolute peace? Well, he ain't got to worry about racism, or he or she ain't got to worry about racism or being treated the way that we have been treated here in America. Where can we go?
Oh, okay. I understand. I will give just a quick synopsis. I feel like you can't go anywhere if you can't find everything yourself. So the first place that you have to be able to go is with yourself. And if there's and if there's stuff that's going on within itself, and you're not going to go anywhere else and find that peace. That's something that you have to know and create for yourself. What that looks like and feels like for each individual, that's going to look different. Because what peace is for me is the same peace for you. Internal peace is, and what it looks and feels like for me.
It says you're breaking up a little bit on me. You're breaking up a little bit on me.
Can you hear me a little bit better now? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm in a different office.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. No, just peace. If you don't have that, you're not going to be able to go anywhere.
That's good. Wow, that's good. She's kind of breaking up. She say she's in a different office, so I think the reception in the office may not be as good as usual, and so she's kind of breaking up on us just a little bit. But let me keep this thing going. I want to post something because Paul just came in with this, and he had said something earlier. And Rico, are you with us, Rico? Rico, you there? Okay. Well, Paul came in, commented something earlier, and the reason why I went to Rico is because I think it was based on something that he said, but I'm gonna make sure he clarify what it is. I'm gonna read what he said. He said, sounds like a double standard to use a different definition with whites and black individuals. Paul, what did you mean by that, brother? Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Hey, good morning. I'll answer that, but real quick, I just want to address the original question about where can black people go to find peace. Not being black, it probably can't speak with great authority on it, but I would imagine that in a more diverse community, probably there would be less racism because in a city, for example, people are just more accustomed to seeing people of different races and backgrounds, so they wouldn't be like, oh no, lock the doors, or something like that, that kind of basic racism. But other people touched on really good points. Peace is a state of mind. I'm a mixed race person, so I've dealt with racism from various sides. I think, you can't, kind of what Leonard's talking about, you can't obsess on it. You can't, let these people control your mind, because that's kind of the game, is to get people distracted and like, oh, everyone's racist or all this, and people become really obsessed on it.
Mm-hmm.
But to my comment, I know I'm not going to convince Captain Dennis or Rico, but my point is this: it's just harmful. I think that talking point about, black people can't be racist because we don't have institutional power and all. I get it. I understand what it means. But look, I've just seen so many examples of people who will take that talking point, black individuals, and they'll do something or say something extremely racist, extremely hostile, and they'll be like, "Oh, I'm not accountable because I can't be racist." I've heard this so many times.
So you think they use that as an scapegoat?
Go ahead.
You think they use it as as a way of escape?
Yes. I mean, I can point to so many examples in my own life and things I've seen online. So yeah, what black people don't have the institutional power generally that whites do, but I just think that that talking point is damaging race relations. I mean, I'm not saying that's the biggest issue. There's plenty of issues, what white people do and all different groups of people do, but that is just one.
Mm-hmm.
So I would, if anybody wants to dig deeper into that, I'd like to have a conversation on that topic, instead of just throwing out talking points. But I think if we want to understand each other and have peace, and we need to have similar standards.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Cassandra? Cassandra, you there?
I'm not racist.
I know you're not. I know you're not.
I'm just saying. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not racist. And I don't think I could ever be racist. I mean, somebody may think I may be able to, but I don't think I could ever be racist. It's not a part. Most black people, I'm gonna go back to black people. Most black people, we don't have that capacity. We don't do like that. We don't think like that. And can I give you a good example? And I've used this example before. When a white person moves into a black community, I'm 64 now. I have never seen, even back in the day, there was a white person that moved into my hood in Charleston. Nobody ever mistreated him, never looked at him crazy or did anything crazy. So I don't know. It's like for most of us, that's not even in our DNA to be racist towards somebody. We're very accepting people. I'm just saying.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what's on my heart. So, I mean,
good job. Rico, you back with us?
Yeah, I'm back, man.
Talk to me, man. Talk to me. What did you just hear?
Well, once again, I hear we blurring the lines between what racism is and prejudice and bias and discrimination. And so now we hear an acknowledgement that we cannot implement racist institutions and systems. We don't have the power. And then we hear the word, but y'all still say racist stuff. See, it's a big difference in saying racist things and having racist beliefs, but then being able to control masses with an agenda, to implement it and say it was a war on drugs, but it really wasn't a war on drugs. It was actually to take the black man out of families. Have we forgotten that? I can't think of one black person on this planet or in the history of man that could create a war on drug system through the government with the intention, admitted intention, through their government system and institution and laws and legislation to target black men, just like they did with crack and cocaine laws. Come on, man. Yeah, everybody got some prejudice in them. But this thing what you acknowledge that we don't have is so much more powerful than just a wish and a hope and a thought. It's so much more powerful. It's so much more impactful. It has so much more influence on the conditions of the way people live physically and mentally. It affects some people's spirits to the point where they have to go somewhere deeper and find peace. They have to go above and beyond and take being spit on and have balls and glass thrown at them, from Mississippi to Alabama to Coweta County, you name it.
Yep.
They have to endure a whole lot of different things. It is a whole lot of different things coming to work. Now, don't get me wrong. There are all black people that do certain things to white people. They say, I do it because I hate white people. And ain't nobody justifying that. There might be a reason behind them hating white people. Christopher Dorner could tell you. There still was something. I mean, I ain't going to say it's every black person. But most of the time, if a black person does have that hate in their heart for white people, it's because of what white people did in the past. It ain't just because. Oh, man, I just seen the prettiest bird. Goodness gracious. It ain't just because. It's because of consequences. It's because of conditions that existed and were created that people had to make as their norm. I said a second ago, there were people that were born in slavery and died in slavery. My modern mindset can't comprehend that. But logic is telling me now that somewhere in that, people made the best out of it and made some peace and found some peace in that dysfunction, in that dysfunctional condition that they were forced to live in. With their God-given right taken from them. They still found some type of way to find peace and comfort and to know that there might be something better after this.
Wow.
You know, so there is a place you can find peace. I mean, you know, I've seen wrongfully convicted people get that needle. And they were unhappy, played their case to the end, but they didn't cry, boo-hoo, raise no saying or cuss or nothing like that. And then all of a sudden, after they get executed, they get exonerated for the crime. That had to be a lot of peace for a person to sit in prison on death row for crimes that they didn't commit.
Exactly.
You know, so yeah, you do adapt in your oppression and your oppressive conditions. It can happen, but it takes a special strength or maybe even a mind manipulation. I don't know what it takes to get to that place where you can find peace, you know what I'm saying, in your despair and in your oppression. But, you know, let's keep it consistent, man. You know, this racism, that, I mean, you admitted that racism is a system that we can't implement. But we do understand that we can be prejudiced. I mean, I'm not going to ever deny that black people can't be prejudiced.
Good deal. Good deal. Keep this thing going. Cap, what's on your heart?
Man, I mean, Rico, my man. You, brother, you laid it. Listen, Paul, you used a statement that kind of put me and Rico into a bag that we can't understand you or adjust to the reality of the world moving on past our understanding. I really think that was a bad category to say Rico and Dennis won't maybe. No, don't put us in that bag. However, I want to say this to you. Rico made a very good point. To be a racist and to say racist things are two different things, man. I think I've always known there's some black people. Hey, Hunky, you Peckerwood cracker. So you would say that's a racist. No, that's somebody that's prejudiced. But if I'm a police officer and I'm a black police officer with power and authority, and I got a problem with white people, I got a problem with gay people, I got a problem with old people, and I pull you over, because I got power now, and you white, and I got issues, then I pull you over falsely, said a lie, your light tail light, and it wasn't, and you made a lie, you wasn't, and get out the car, and then tow your car, and then say it to your face. I don't like you because you're white. And that's why I'm doing it. That's a racist. Because he had the power to take something from you or the power at that particular time over you. Do these kind of people exist? Paul, they sure do. But Cassandra said it. It's just ain't in the nature, whether you want to accept that or not. We did not bring white people into slavery. We did not torture white people. Did some black people make that? I don't know, maybe. But that's what we're talking about. It didn't act like, there's some that's, no. You may have somebody call you a cracker in your school days, maybe punch you in your nose, Paul. But that does not reflect the very nature of a people. And that's what you said. You said something the other day, Paul, where the language, we don't want to use the language because, we don't want to, make people be reminded. See, what the fear of white people is this. See, if we remind black people, especially today's youth, and we constantly show them what happened to us in the slavery and the horrors of slavery, they're going to get angry. And the fear is they're going to get angry and say, man, they did this to us, man. Man, let's burn this. That's the fear. So you keep the language down. We don't want to get them angry because if they really see, so let's not talk about it. That's the fear. That if we talk about it, in those today's generation who's already divided on themselves, understand the true horror of what slavery had done to their forefathers, so they're going to get mad. They may not be mature enough to keep that anger and turn it into some positive activism, but they may get that out of that anger, cause them to harm white people. That's the fear. I understand that. But they said that the worst atrocity, I looked at the news the other day, they're dealing with the Holocaust because there was somebody found some pictures that goes way back that happened to show the Holocaust. They said one of the worst atrocities in the world. That's not the worst atrocities in the world. Who can define that? Who said that's the worst atrocity for Jewish people? Yes. But it's not the worst atrocity in the world. What happened to us is the worst atrocity in the world.
Wow.
So no, Paul, I think there are people who could, but hey man, they're such a small number, man, that we don't even put them on the scale.
Good.
That's what's on my heart.
Good deal. Voila!
Right.
Yes, ma'am. Talk to me. Talk to me.
Raheem, when you talk about dislikes and evilness and prejudice and all that, people dislike for certain reasons. People have a right to make their own choices in life. We know that. And we know one thing, that hatred, that racism is taught. That's taught. That's something you're not born with. It's taught through behavior and things, the things that people see in this world. Certainly there are things that as individuals we dislike that might draw us in a place where we might even say the word hate, which is a bad word to say. When it comes to people of God, we don't like to say hate, but we're displeased with that. So when we find, because this happened the other day, real quick, Raheem. I was riding with my cousin, and she told me I had just left this minister's house. And sometimes, I always say you need to understand a person's background in order to understand where they are now. And when she told me to pass about this young lady, I got a little bit angry about where she had, where she is now and what is going on with her. Where she was married and they caught her husband with her daughter in bed. And to this day, that Negro had not been charged with being a pedophile for her daughter.
Wow.
She helped him to escape the justice system for her daughter. And, that put me in a little red, bad place. And I had to say to myself, devil, you a lie. You're not going to put me there. You're not going to put me there. You're not going to put me there. Because I see how the tricks of his devices can enter into our lives and then take you back another place. Even though what I know for a fact was wrong, Raheem, I just say you're a lie. You're a lie. You're not going to take me there. You're not going, because I was actually getting angry. Because I asked her, I said, is he still living? That was my first thing. Is
Yeah.
he still living?
Mm-hmm.
She said, yeah, he's still living. Walk around like nothing ain't happened.
Mm.
And she still was carrying on with him after he was caught with her daughter
Wow.
in bed.
Mm.
Now you see Raheem. So you see how you felt. Now I was right there with her, and I know she's right now in a place where she even is saying that she's a minister and blah 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 blah
Mhm.
blah blah. But it kind of made me diminish just a little bit about her place where she is right now.
Mhm.
So that kind of made me angry with myself because I'm saying, well, certainly if God changed me, he can change her. So I'm like Rico. Sometimes I got to come back and say, you know what? I'm sorry, because right then and there, I was being hypocritical.
Mm-hmm.
So when you can have that conversation,
Yeah.
I said that to say, when you can have that conversation with yourself, and then you don't allow it to grow, to nourish it, you disregard it right then and there, then the enemy can't take you to a place where you become a racist, or
Exactly.
you become hatred, or you become disliking about something that you can't change.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And that's what's on my heart, Raheem.
Good deal. Good deal. Ryan, what's on your heart, brother? Cassandra, coming to you next.
Yeah, man. That's some great wisdom from Willa, for real. I can remember back to a time with the things that and Rico and I did this before too. It had been very easy for me to become a racist individual with the things that I had to go through as a child from my stepdad and schools that I went to. And coming out here, the more rural side of things, and going to school and experiencing the same sort of actions from the people that share the same color as me against me.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, and I kind of at that point understood where my sisters are all mixed, and I understood where they would come from, because I couldn't quite grasp it at first, because they would say they go to school and get called cracker or get called the N-word, you know, and they would come home upset and say, where do I fit in? I just don't fit in on either side.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were forced to make a choice. Which one you gonna claim?
Mm-hmm.
That's wrong.
Yeah.
I claim humanity. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I came out to the area I'm in now, which is predominantly Arab and Asian.
Mm-hmm.
And going to school, the Arab people that we went to school with, man, you would find it hard pressed to find somebody that you could get along with. They were some nasty people.
Mm-hmm.
But as I got to know their families, the older cats in those families were some of the most amazing people I've ever encountered in my life.
Mm.
And so I say that back to what Cassandra was saying. My encounters with Black people have already been older, never had any problems with those people.
Mm-hmm.
I never had any sort of unwelcome vibe when I was in their house as a child.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking, you know, when I was a child and a teenager, and they were in their 40s and up.
Mm-hmm.
Different.
Okay. Yeah.
Completely welcoming.
Mm-hmm.
But I find it hard to, even with my background, some of the young people that I deal with, that's a different thing altogether. But they seem so absent from reality with everybody, even their own selves. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's something I'm trying to learn, because I feel like not just me, but a lot of people that I associate with, we have so much to teach these guys and gals
Mm-hmm.
about life, but they just don't want to hear it. They're in some place that's distant. They're gone from the here and now. I don't know where they're at, whether it's the music, whether it's drugs, whether it's home problems. But I feel like if we can connect on some level, there's so much wisdom all of us can, younger people of all races, that would kind of maybe ease the pain a little bit, if you see where I'm going.
Exactly. Wow. It's about time for us to get out of here. Let me see. I got a few more people. As a matter of fact, Queen, good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning? I think she just hung up. Cassandra, what's on your heart?
I'm here.
Okay. Good deal. Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. How are you?
Good deal.
I was hoping that it wasn't at the end, but I guess I came in on the end.
Yeah, we're about to get out of here. But you been listening for a minute?
Yeah, I was listening. He was talking about how people feel as far as school, and are we talking about now, or are we talking about back in the day?
Well, actually, what we're talking about is where can the black man and the woman go on this planet, and not have to deal with racism or the way that they've been treated here in the United States of America. Where can he or she go?
Really nowhere. It seems to be everywhere. The hatred that is displayed towards people of color, it's everywhere. Why, I don't know, but it is everywhere. I wish it wasn't like that, but I don't believe there's anywhere you can actually go that it's not displayed, or it's not displayed by thy own.
Wow.
It's not just the other cultures. It's ourselves that need to change the frame of mind that we are all good enough. And that we can all stand up for each other and say we're good enough. I actually, in my line of field, just the other day, I had 2 Caucasian women that came to my office, and they came in for jobs. And by the time it was over with, we had them been sitting there for 2 hours talking.
Yeah.
Enjoying each other's conversation, learning about each other, talking about this same thing, race, and why people are like that and everything. And we now have made a pact that we're going to do lunch once a month just to sit and be there for each other.
Yeah, that's good.
And it made me feel good, because me as a woman of color, I was like, wow, they're relating. They're in an honest manner.
That's good.
So it's not like it can't change. It takes that person to want it to change and to be a part of the change.
Absolutely. Stay right there. Cassandra, what's on your heart?
Hello, everybody. No, that's just, I'm good. I'm loving everybody. I'm loving with the conversation. And who was that just got through talking?
Queen? Yes.
Queen. Yeah. If we would just communicate, if we could just sit down and talk to each other and see that we have more in common than we have different. If we really sit down and talk to people, so that's my thing, talk, see what the other person is about, and not just judge them based on their color.
Exactly. That's good. Well, I think it's time for us to get out of here. Anybody have anything before we get out of here? Okay. Rico, what's going on at 3:00 today, sir?
Well, I was waiting till you said that, so I was going to say what I had to say.
Okay.
I love what Cassandra just said and what Queen just said. And, the thing is it's one thing to sit down and talk, but then it's another thing to actually sit down and listen and see what part you might play.
In the building.
You have to mute that.
Somebody got something going on in the background. Hold on for me, see who that is.
No, down the street.
You found it.
Yeah, there you go.
You see, it's the thing called accountability. And there are certain types of racism. You have macro aggressive racism, which can be aggressive, overt, very, very brutal. Then you have microaggressive, where you might come on to certain platforms and you feel like everything you need to offer, everybody needs to listen to, but what everybody else has to offer, you don't take the time to listen to it. It's reciprocal energy.
Yeah.
When you sit down and have that reciprocal energy, then you also have the opportunity to listen and to see where you may be at fault, or you might be contributing to some of this behavior unknowingly, unconsciously. Because to be honest with you, that's really what happens a lot. We have the overt racism and covert racism. So take the time when we do have these communications. Don't just be so willing to issue out information you think people need to know. Listen to some of it that you ain't hearing, because I could tell by some of the conversations we having, ain't nobody looking at none of the videos I seen. Ain't nobody listening to what I'm really saying and what Cap is really saying, because we end up repeating the same talking points with a but. So I mean, that self-accountability, check yourself sometime.
Yeah.
There have been times that I contributed to some negative things and I didn't think I was. And I felt better knowing that I did than to continue doing it. It feels a lot better when you're able to find out what part you're playing in it, even when you don't realize you're playing a part in it. Believe me, you'll feel a lot better.
Exactly.
Go listen to Dr. Jane Elliott. With that being said, if you missed today's show,
hold on, Rico.
Go ahead.
Hold on. Ryan, you wanted to say something? You had something?
Yeah. When Queen had said what she said, it reminded me of something. And basically, I'm going to just read this right quick, take 30 seconds. It says, being white and being racist aren't the same, I promise. I know it's hard to tell the difference if I'm just being honest. I deserve the chance to show you I'm not part of the problem, and you owe it to yourselves. We got so much in common. When she was talking about sit down with those ladies and find that common ground, that popped up in my head.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Good deal. Rico, talk to me, brother.
If you missed today's show and would like to hear us see the rebroadcast in its entirety, you can tune in at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on www.dkmmediagroup.com. And y'all, I do know the word is entirety. So if you tune it in for the first time, don't think I'm just some country bumpkin.
No, he absolutely knows what he knows the word. That's an inside thing that we have here on the Morning Glow. So yeah, he definitely knows what the word is. So I can vouch for you. I second that. I second that for him. Willow!
Raheem!
Willow, today is Friday now. I got to ask you, today is Friday. Are you ready?
Raheem, I am so ready to receive God's words. Come on, Raheem, let's go.
Well,
let's go, Raheem.
Well, Willow, I'm gonna get out your way because only thing I got to say now is let's go.
Come on, hey, let's go. Let us go to the throne of grace this morning. Father, we thank you so much for waking us, giving us the opportunity, Lord, to get it right with you. We thank you, Lord, for keeping us while we slept. You protected us. Father, we thank you so much for your word, Lord. Father, we're thanking you in advance, Lord, for placing your wonderful power, your protective peace in our lives, Lord. Father, we thank you for it. We are so grateful, Lord, that you have placed it right there at the front of our hearts, at the front of our minds, Lord, that we'll not give that enemy access to our emotions, and it'll keep us from his lies, his accusation, his torment, his darkness, Lord. Oh, Lord, we thank you. Thank you for being right there at the front where you keep that enemy out of our lives, Lord. Father, we thank you for that wonderful and powerful protection, Lord. Father, we thank you for the truth of the word that proves itself over and over and over and over again in our lives, Lord. Father, we thank you. We thank you, Lord, for the mercy and the grace that you give us, even when we don't deserve it, Lord. for giving us hope, Lord. When the enemy tries to tell us that there's no hope, Lord, Father, we believe and we trust your word. We trust your word when that doctor says that there's no more that he can do, Lord. We trust you, Lord, that you said that you'll continue to give us the peace that surpasses all understanding and that cast our cares on you because you care for us.
Long. Okay, there you go. I don't know what's going on my screen there, but we covered a lot today. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And more than that, what time is it first before I do that? It's 10:17. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DK and Media Group and Associates and the Morning Glow for being a part of your day. It is now 10:17. You're about to exit the Morning Glow, but before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we are certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple, I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. Then we shine some of this light on you from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great day. Take care of each other. And please, please, please be blessed. Give somebody some love and truth. They would appreciate it. And I'm sure that you will as well. Have a great day. Love you. Take care of yourself. See you Monday morning. God says the same.